A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles' seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
We put our lives on the line for our country. We braved the unknown. We did what we were told. And we lit up. Our cigarette packs were as valuable as the packs on our back, maybe more. At one point, cigarettes were part of our daily ration. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. And boy, we were smoking 'em. Bumming a smoke was the norm. It was an escape from the reality of dirt, sweat, and forgetting how many days you were so far from home. Never had to worry so long as you had a light, and the smoking lamp was lit. If that was you then, get your lungs screened now. Surviving lung cancer starts with a scan. Learn more at screenyourlungs.org. And thank you for your service. This PSA was made possible by industry funding and guidance from lung cancer patient groups.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Big truck accidents can cause life-changing injuries, and life-changing injuries deserve life-changing money. I know big truck wrecks, and I know how to fight those big insurance companies. If you've been hurt by a big truck, contact us at ritchielaw.com. I'm on top of it.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Cold front passing through the area with some windy conditions this afternoon. We do have high fire danger. You're encouraged not to do any outdoor burning. Very little chance for rain, maybe a few sprinkles in places, and then some clearing tonight and colder with a low of 39. Tomorrow's chilly at 59 with mostly sunny skies.
3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 864 points to 46,441.
He'll hand it, a shot through the score on the power play. Oh, lets it go. Seth Jarvis, Ehlers wants it, he scores!
Shot clock is off, 16 seconds remaining. Duke will dribble it out. What an effort from the number one overall team in this tournament. The Duke Blue Devils are on to their third consecutive Sweet 16 under John Shire. 81-58 the final as they take out TCU.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy new week to all of you. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing. Dennis, I'm going to let people in on our little daily routine here.
Okay.
Most days, Dennis walks into the office. He just kind of shouts a question to the general area of the sports room.
Yeah.
For a long time, it was, say, have the Panthers traded Brian Burns yet? Or have the Canes traded Mikko Rantanen for that solid 13-game stretch he was around? Maybe have they traded Kotkaniemi yet? Or an extension that we're waiting for? Today it was, or my guess is until something happens. Is Hubert Davis still the coach of the Carolina Tar Heels? That's the question on everyone's mind.
That is the question.
And I can answer that as of right now. They have not separated. Although I think there's many Carolina Tar Heel fans out there that are refreshing the feed quite often to see if it does. And we'll talk about that. Duke still playing, the last ACC team remaining in the NCAA Tournament. Thought we talked about this ACC. And then also, since our last show, there have been 2 wins by the Carolina Hurricanes, and that's just the start. Every day here on The Drive, we start it the same way, and that is with the Big 3 at 3.
Number 1.
By the way, we will have Monday Soundoff coming your way at 4:15. If you have thoughts on any of the things we just mentioned, including the future, current, and or past head coach of the Carolina Tar Heels, Hubert Davis, and also this Big 3 is presented by Manor Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, service you can trust. That's Manor Service Company. Number 1 on the Big 3 at 3 is the University of North Carolina Tar Heels head coaching situation as it stands right now. There's so many questions that go into it, right? The number one thing you have to consider, and it's being considered. That's really the only factual information anybody has received from those within the Carolina program is that there are discussions, right? They're getting together and they're discussing the future of Hubert Davis. They're getting together and evaluating how the program has been playing. Now, you can hide behind the vagueness of, after every season, we go ahead and evaluate the job done. And that goes for every sport, every season you can do that. Or you can have the acknowledgement that there's some more serious evaluation going on this time. And once you wrap your head around there's some more serious evaluation going on this time, you get to the questions that be. Is it good enough? The last 5 years that Hubert Davis has been running the program, is it good enough? Do you judge off the highs? Do you judge off the consistency? Do you judge off, is it good enough? And do you have a better option out there? Those are really it, right? Because if you say what he's done is good enough, you don't have a problem. You just got to put out that message of support and take those arrows and move on. If it's not good enough, you have to ask, is there somebody out there that could take the job and do a better job? Because if the answer is no, then it doesn't matter if it's good enough or not. You got the best you can do. Those two questions will steer everything. And I think you need to boil it down to simple questions like that, or else you get real caught up in the details. Or else you get really caught up in but Caleb Wilson was hurt, and actually, the other schools they go ahead and struggle just as much, and you can do this and you can do that, and he played for a national championship game and all these other things. You can. But is it good enough? And can you do better? In my experience, and this is covering college sports from a bunch of different angles for a bunch of different teams, you're allowed to have collapses. You're allowed to have seasons upended by injuries. You're allowed, and I say allowed mostly by like the fan base and the powers that be, like the administration. You're allowed to have years that severely underwhelm, but you have to earn those chips. Right? A national championship, you get like 3 collapses. Multiple national championships, it's kind of a lifetime deal. It's yours. Couple ACC tournament wins, meaning championship wins. Well, all right, you get to excuse one collapse. A Final Four excuses one. Like, you have to earn your collapses, and it seems like this year the collapse, the 19 points ahead against VCU in the second half, is maybe where you're too far in debt. Right, you earned some collapses with your Final Four run. You earned some collapses with Coach K's last 2 games and all those things. But now your collapses have out-earned the ones that you've built up the bank for, and you got to answer for that. Maybe with your job, which isn't fun for anyone. That's never fun to say. I didn't enjoy just saying it. That stunk to say out loud. Hate calling for people's job. Hate predicting that someone's job is on the line. But it's the nature of the business, right? You don't get into coaching if you want to be somewhere for 45 years. Those are severe outliers, right? Very rarely, like in many other industries, are you getting the Rolex for 45, 50, 55 years at one company. It just doesn't happen except for the very, very select few, and they can afford their own Rolex. We'll talk about it throughout. We'll keep you updated if there's any breaking news throughout the show. If they try to kind of afternoon or evening news dump, we're on till 6, and we'll be on longer if we need to be. And we're talking to Pat Welter of WRAL, sports reporter, who's been asking around as much as he possibly can about Hubert Davis's job status. We'll bring him on for the latest later this hour, so in about, 45 minutes. That's number one. Let's hit number two.
Number two.
From teams that are in the news despite not being alive in the NCAA tournament to a team that's in the news because they are still alive in the NCAA tournament. The last ACC team standing is Duke after getting a win over the weekend against TCU. A win that felt shaky. Then all at once did not feel shaky anymore. It was like, oh, geez, they struggled against Siena. Now TCU's hanging with them. Oh, never mind, they're ahead by a bunch. Look at that. And for the kind of just the nuts and bolts of it, they're facing St. John's on Friday at 7:10 p.m. in the Sweet 16. And yes, that is Rick Pitino. So now from this point forward, Duke is kind of just catching great coach after great coach after great coach. They'll face, as I said, St. John's. I don't know why I keep doing that. On Friday. Then they'll face either Tom Izzo or Dan Hurley. Then there's a good chance they're facing like Brad Underwood from Illinois. They've got their coaching matchups locked up. John Shire's gonna have to hold his own against some legends. And it could, as far as breaking news, it's not even breaking news. It's breaking speculation. It could come with Caleb Foster on the court. It could come with Caleb Foster as an option. John Shire, we have some audio for you, actually, of John Shire saying that Caleb Foster, who we all expected and maybe even have been told, I forget how we all came to this opinion as a unit, that we would be lucky to see Caleb Foster if they make the Final Four. Now, all of a sudden, it might be an outside chance he could play in the Sweet 16. Here's John Shire on maybe seeing Caleb Foster sooner than expected.
When he first got hurt, I felt there's more like 1 in a million, when thinking back on that. Since then, since he's gone hurt, Caleb, the way that he's worked, the chances have continued to increase. And, I even think there's an outside chance maybe for Friday. Okay. I know in Caleb's mind, there was last Friday where he feels he could have done something, which he couldn't have. Yeah. But he's trying to do the impossible here and come back as soon as he can. And, I think this weekend, I don't think I can rule it out because of who he is and how he's been working.
1 in a million? Cue Dumb and Dumber. So you're telling me there's a chance? We'll see. I think the emotional boost would be as much as the play boost if Caleb Foster makes his way onto the court for Duke against St. John's. That is number two. How about number three?
Number three.
Carolina Hurricanes got a couple of wins over the weekend. Friday, an overtime win at Toronto, and then Sunday, a dominant win over Pittsburgh. It was 4-3 in overtime against Toronto, 5-1 against Pitt, and it felt even could have been double that the way that it felt against the Penguins. I'm going to let everybody in on a hack I've found. Ready? This is a pro tip. Make yourself sound smart at parties. Every single time the Canes go into overtime, I tweet out, Sebastian Aho is a killer in overtime. I've got a feeling. I just tweet that out, right? And everybody kind of knows what I'm saying. He is so included in everything that happens in overtime. Both times, or the last two, right? It was actually last time against Pittsburgh and Toronto. I just say he's a killer in overtime. I've got a feeling he gets like an assist or he wins the face-off or something, and then you just follow it up with like, I know he didn't score the goal, but he created it, and everybody gives you credit for a positive or a correct prediction. It's a hack. It's a complete pro tip. All you got to do is Aho's a killer in overtime. I've got a feeling. He wheels it around, makes the pass, gets the assist. Boom. There you go. I was right. Scores goals in overtime. He's always there. I was right, and I'm going to do it every time. So now you guys are in on the secret here. Didn't need it against Pittsburgh, so what did he do? He just scored the opening goal. Power play goal in the first minute, which, by the way, I tweeted this out. I thought it was kind of funny. If I were a baseball player, I would have told the power play unit to sit on the end of the bench and nobody talk to them because they were throwing a perfect game against Pittsburgh. What was it? 3 power plays, 3 shots, 3 goals. That doesn't happen very often. So they were at least no-hitter zone. I would have stopped talking to them and made them put like a windbreaker on just their right shoulder just to make sure they stay fresh. It was a good weekend of Canes hockey, and now you start looking at the standings and things. They're pulling away, and you know their magic number and everything's being mentioned as far as clinching postseason and beyond. If they keep playing the way they're playing, good things will happen. Also, you'll hear me say this throughout the show. Freddie Anderson might be number 1 on the you can't prove to me anything in the regular season rankings. This whole team can't really prove anything to us in the regular season. They just need to be ready for the postseason. But Freddie's playing pretty darn well. He's winning games pretty darn high rate right now since the Olympics. And nobody gets excited for Freddie. Everyone's just like, yeah, fine. I guess that one was good. Tell him I want to see it in about 20 games. It's like, all right.
He was really good yesterday.
He has been.
He was really good yesterday.
It's just he's on the like Josh Allen Buffalo Bills track of like, great, another regular season good game. Whoa. What happens when you play Mahomes in the playoffs? Like that's just where Freddie Anderson lives now. Oh, you're on a hot streak. You've won 5 of your last 6, whatever it is. Ooh, another really good game. I need to see it in the second round or beyond, or else it doesn't matter. It's just where they are. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the Big 3 at 3, presented by Maynard Service Company. Check them out for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Hubert Davis, will he be the coach of Carolina beyond today? Will he be the coach beyond tomorrow? We do our best to answer that question next.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here from my good friends over at Raleigh Weight Loss Center. If you are serious about the weight loss journey, you have to give Raleigh Weight Loss Center a call, 919-897-7506, or swing by RaleighWeightLossCenter.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. Here's the thing about Raleigh Weight Loss Center, and I was part of the program. I can speak from this firsthand. No shots, no injections, no drugs, no steroids, none of the nasty side effects. Just restarting your metabolism. That way your body can do the natural thing. They've helped thousands of people lose anywhere between 10 to 20% of their body weight. I lost 15% of my body weight, more than 15% of my body weight, over 40 pounds, thanks to Raleigh Weight Loss Center. Again, give them a call, 919-897-7506, or visit RaleighWeightLossCenter.com. Set up that free 15-minute phone call. I'm living, breathing, walking proof that the plan can work. First 50 callers get a $100 discount. 919-897-7506. Results may vary.
Listen up for big savings during Declaration of Deals Month at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Get that 2026 Ram 1500 Laramie you've had your eye on while they're offering $14,500 off. Or pick your financing, 0% for 60 months or 2.9% for 72 months. John Heister's declaring Jeep deals too. Get $11,000 off a 2025 Jeep Wagoneer or over $12,000 off a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
At quarterback, calling the right play could change the whole game. And when your car breaks down, same idea. Make the right call before the big repair bill hits. CarShield helps protect you from expensive auto repairs. Plans include 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, and rental car options, all to keep your drive alive. Look, breakdowns happen, but choosing CarShield, that's the easiest call you'll make all day.
Visit carshield.com now and join the team that's helped millions of drivers save. Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at carshield.com.
That's a big thinking question, and I apologize. I'm just not there right now. Just really sad that we're not continuing to play and to move forward because I have loved and enjoyed this team. I enjoy and love all of them, but I've just really enjoyed coaching this team, and I really wanted this group and these kids to experience more. And so, but other than that, I'm just thinking about these guys and the rest of the guys that are in the locker room.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That audio from Hubert Davis, head coach, Carolina Tar Heels, after they blew a 19-point lead in the second half against VCU in the round of 64 of the NCAA Tournament. If you have thoughts on what Carolina should do, will do, might do, could do, any of those things, with the leader of their basketball program. We'll open up the phone lines in about an hour for a Monday Soundoff. So bookmark the number if you haven't done so already. It's the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. 919-860-5326. Phones aren't open now, but you can bookmark it for later. We'll tell you when it's open. The writing, it would appear, is on the wall. All right. Will they? Could they? Should they? It would be unfair to many different people once it's dragged on this long and you've canceled his coach's show and you've or postponed his coach's show and you've put out the statements of we're evaluating and like at the very least what you're doing is making the future much more difficult for Hubert Davis if you keep him. Right? Because job security impacts everything. It impacts your ability to recruit. It impacts – nobody wants to be a lame duck coach where it feels like at the first mistake you're gone and you're going to, like, you know, pledge your loyalty to that person. So either there is a very swift, very soon, very aggressive support and defense of Hubert Davis, or there's probably going to be some kind of mutually agreeing to part ways. That's what I would assume is likely. And then Carolina, meaning Carolina fans, Carolina players, Carolina administrators, better buckle up because deciding to move on from your coach is not the end, although I'm sure it's a very, very difficult difficult question or difficult decision to come to. It is the beginning of a whirlwind. And this one would be different than the others. Because I don't believe if they move on from Hubert Davis, they will stay in the Dean Smith tree. I think you got to go outside. And that would be, I think it's 65 years they've had either Dean Smith, Bill Guthridge, Matt Doherty, Roy Williams, or Hubert Davis, which are all coach, player, directly linked to Dean, directly connected, linked to Dean Smith. And there's no doubt in my mind that Carolina fans look at the last 65 years and the 5 national championships and the All-Americans and the wins and everything else and don't think that's a pretty good run. And to leave that, to move on from that would be very, very difficult, and I'm sure it is, and I bet you that's why it's taken so long for what appears to be happening to happen. The Dean Smith era, it doesn't have to come to a close because the person who you hire has never worked for or shaken hands with Dean Smith. It can be continued in spirit by someone that understands what a giant in the game Dean Smith and Roy Williams were. And the players can be revered. And they can be kept in the loop. And it can be almost a rebranding of what that means without a moving on from. But you can't limit yourself, right? If you're moving on from Hubert Davis and you say it has to be a Carolina, somebody from within the family, somebody that played there, somebody that coached for, somebody that has everyone's number on speed dial already, you're just shrinking the pool of people that you can choose, and it's too darn difficult to pick a good coach in college basketball to then do so on expert rating. You want to play on rookie. You want to be able to pick out everybody. Not to mention this, Carolina and I've workshopped how to say this 1,000 times off air because I completely understand that mid-30s dad of 2 is not like the coolest guy in the world. Carolina is cool, right? And I know the kids maybe wouldn't use cool, and maybe the grandparents out there might use groovy. I don't know what word you want to use. Carolina and the Jordan brand and that color, Carolina blue and the Argyle, it's cool, right? It's cool. And when you're hiring a coach, if you have to hire a coach that's already within the Carolina sphere, you're not capitalizing on that. Like and listen, no disrespect to Hubert Davis. He obviously started gangbusters, right? Or went on a really good run early in his coaching career. I'm not disrespecting him individually, but when you hired Hubert Davis, he already could get all the player exclusive Jordan shoes he wanted because he's already inner circle royalty of Carolina. That's not drawing any kind of new interest. You should get somebody that is enamored with the prestige of Carolina. That's a recruiting tool. Where did it go wrong? I think somewhere along the way, and this is more theory, but, until they make a decision, we're kind of living in the theoretical. I think somewhere along the way, people forgot or maybe stopped emulating, like, the fact that Dean Smith and Roy Williams did have some swagger. Right? I know they were older guys that, especially, towards the end of their careers, obviously. But, they had some charm. They had some swagger. They were cool in a lot of ways.
You have got to be kidding me.
And when you're like emulating or trying to stay in their image, when you're trying to stay in like, oh, this is what Roy would do. Oh, this is what Dean would do. It's almost like the only parts that get emulated are like the hardo try hard stuff. Right? The difficult coach stuff rather than the part that like Roy Williams going to Kobe White's debut in Charlotte. And having Kobe White be like, oh, wait, we connect. He never let me really get far from the program. We text, we do this, we do that. Like, you need the cool, the charm, just as much as you need the, hey, he makes us run after losses. Carolina is cool. And it's why I've called their football team a sleeping giant for all these years. Carolina has something that every other brand wants, which is super identifiable. The color is known, like everything is there. You need somebody that's going to capitalize on that. And I don't pretend to think this is the actual reason why. But, it's just not taking advantage of all your benefits. Like Hubert Davis pretty much only wears Jordan 1s. Which are great shoes.
Yeah, they are.
But if you had access to every single Jordan in your team's colors, occasionally you got to break out something cool. You got to break out something new. You got to break out something crazy. Jordan 1s are great, but when you walk into a high school and you're walking through the halls going down to the athletic director's room where you're going to meet with a recruit, people aren't in the hallways going, oh my goodness, look at those Carolina blue 1s. I need to go run into this math class and tell my buddy that I just saw him wearing. No, you need to take advantage of the whole situation. All of it. Because if you don't, well, you're going to be left in a situation like right now, which is your job is flapping in the breeze. And it's not, like I said again, it's not fun. But if at any point in time in your career, and this goes for any career, this many people are talking about your job security that aren't like you and your boss in a year-end evaluation, that's not a good sign. It's not. Where there's smoke, there's fire is the saying. Or at least there better be like a gigantic fire extinguisher somewhere that's going to put all of this out. And there is the other side. And don't get me wrong. There is the other side. Always be careful, right? The grass ain't always greener. I saw this stat. Todd Golden, the head coach of Florida, he's over the last 4 years, he's basically Hubert Davis with one more win 1 year, meaning he won a national championship. His 3 other runs to the NCAA tournament, 0-1, 0-1, 1-1. He just got the one more win, right? So if you're not okay with not making it out of the NCAA tournament first round most years, be careful because there's not that many coaches that guarantee you a Sweet 16 every year. Although you could argue put a few of those coaches on Carolina with those resources that name that brand, maybe they would go further. Just saying, it could go bad. You can't be afraid of that. And if it does, you just get rid of that guy and go to the next one anyway. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a multi-layered, nuanced conversation that we will continue to have throughout the show, and we want you to be a part of, which is why we're opening up the phone lines at 4:15 on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Bookmark it, get ready, 4:15. We want to hear from you. Right now, though, I want to hear from Dennis because he has a message for you.
I do. Dennis Cox here real quick for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Something I definitely got to enjoy this weekend was the warm weather, getting out there on the road, riding the motorcycle. Definitely got all the pollen and everything I could inhale while taking the motorcycle out for a spin. But I will say this, it was still an absolute joy to get out on the motorcycle and ride. And I do know as a motorcycle rider that I'm seeing a lot more motorcycles out there on the road because guess what? Riding season is here, and I want you to be part of it. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com, people. caniacsbike.com. Enter to win a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle courtesy of Art Motor Garage and shiny side paint. It's simple to enter. You go to caniacsbike.com. By the way, deadline to enter, it's this Sunday, March 29th. This Sunday is the deadline to enter. So quit waiting around, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see pictures of the bike right there. If you want to see it in person, swing by Art Motor Garage. They're located right here in Raleigh. It's an absolutely gorgeous V4 Ducati motorcycle. Enter by this Sunday. That's the deadline. Bike will be given away live on the ice April 4th, and it includes tickets into a catered suite as well. Visit caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
Up next, we hit a little Dean's List, and before even that, we get 2 minutes of gold from Adam Gold, all about the dominant win for the Canes yesterday. Stick around.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We are a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated, so don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart, just complete the purchase. Hurry! This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
As a social influencer, my days can be busy. 4 a.m., I hit the gym. 4:32, protein smoothie. 5:08, save time and money bundling my home and auto insurance with Progressive. Wait, if I bundle and save time, what would I do then? Just sit here and reflect? Like, why am I qualified to influence anyone? And how those weights are hollow? And half of my followers are bots.
You could save time and money bundling your home and auto when you switch to Progressive. It's one less thing to worry about during your already busy day. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Back for Svechnikov. Now Jarvis. Out in front, Seth Jarvis pounds it home on a beautiful feed from Nikolai Ehlers. And the Canes, 3 for 3, perfect on the power play at PPG Paints Arena.
That's Mike Maniscalco during the Canes 5-1 win yesterday, that being over the Pittsburgh Penguins. And for more details, here's our very own Adam Gold with something we call 2 Minutes of Gold.
Hey, it's Adam, and I've got 2 minutes for 3 moments that helped Carolina get 2 points and stretch the margin out to 10 over the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. I guess Carolina doesn't need that power play coach after all, do they? So many of you on social media for years, when are the Hurricanes going to sign themselves a power play coach? I actually don't know if that's actually how you sound, but it's how I hear it. And Carolina doesn't need it because when you've got players who move the puck, you're going to score power play goals.
The shot through the score on the power play. Oh, lets it go. And Carolina on the season from Sebastian Aho have a 1-0 lead. Ehlers wants it, he scores! A one-timer from Nikolai Ehlers on the power play. And Carolina's lead is 2-0. Jarvis pounds it home on a beautiful feed from Nikolai Ehlers. And the Canes, 3 for 3, perfect on the power play at PPG Paints Arena.
3 out of their first 4 goals on the power play. 3 for 3. Aho, Ehlers, Jarvis, thank you. 5-1 win. And oh, by the way, Freddie Anderson, 18 saves, 19 shots, pretty doggone good, and some big saves early. That's probably the best Freddie has looked for 60 minutes in a long while. Nice to see. Now, Brandon Bussey, your turn to look good. Carolina, with 12 games left to play, is in very good shape to win the division, maybe even get the number 1 seed in the East, and take it from there. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for the power of love and the power play.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold and Rusty. Behind the scenes, Rusty puts all that together, the production and everything. The power play was fun. It really, I know you're not going to go 3 for 3 every single game. That would be insane. But
unless you're going to do it.
It was just really fun. Every time you saw them skating to the box, it felt like, oh, goody. Oh, something cool is going to happen. Hold on. Everybody, stop what you're doing. Let's watch. And then you were rewarded. Right? Because there's been games where you do the same thing. Power play, this could be a huge goal. Everybody stop what you're doing. And then you just kind of cringe for 2 minutes and then, all right, go back to whatever. You can go back to scrolling. But it was really fun for the Canes yesterday. And it was afternoon, right? I don't know, when it's still light outside, it just feels better. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9, The Fan. That was 2 minutes of gold with our very own Adam Gold. This upcoming is the Dean's List. We'll start with college basketball as a whole. Obviously, if you watch, there have been some good games, there have been some fun games, on and on and on. The NCAA Tournament is off to its best start since CBS and TNT began showing all of the games in 2011. When it comes to people watching, the tournament averaged 9.8 million for the first 3 days. That is the first 4 on Tuesday and Wednesday, along with Thursday's first round, according to Nielsen, which is a 5% increase from last year.
Nice.
Thursday's opening round, so excluding the first 4, CBS, TNT, TBS, and True TV, also 9.8 million, a 6% increase over last year, according to Nielsen. We're watching. I always like to have those I like to have the numbers. The first day doesn't prove it as much, but because there are no true Cinderellas, there's no George Masons, there's none of those crazy Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast still alive in the Sweet 16. There's, usually, oh man, but then you check the ratings and it's like, actually, everybody is still watching. All of you that are saying you're not watching because the Cinderellas are gone, everyone still is. So I anticipate that growing as the tournament goes along. I just like to pay attention to the ratings for that, so I have a rebuttal when people say, it's all bad, it's so much worse, I'm never going to watch. Well, for every one of you, there's 3 new ones starting to watch then, because more are doing it now than ever. Next up on the Dean's List, 2 players for Duke, Isaiah Evans and Dame Sarr. Obviously, Pat Gongba is going to get a lot of the love and a lot of the credit for Duke playing much better against TCU than they did against Siena in the opening round, because he didn't play against Siena and he played against TCU and had a crazy plus-minus. But I actually think the biggest difference were Isaiah Evans, the way he started the game, and Dame Sarr, the way he's improved, particularly offensively, mixing it with his elite defense. Those 2 guys, to me, were the biggest difference between Siena and TCU. I think they brought a different energy. They played a different level of basketball, and thus Duke won by a bundle rather than needing every last ounce of effort to get Siena. Sometimes the obvious answer is the answer, and sometimes the obvious answer gets credit for other answers. So Big Pat coming back gets a lot of the love. I think those two guys were more the drivers of it. Dennis, do you have any Dean's Listers you'd like to throw out here?
I do. Iowa men's basketball, because they broke everyone's brackets by beating Florida.
It is.
I'm here for the chaos.
Well, it is insane that this is, and I'll say it. I'll give you a Dean's Lister. How about major conference college basketball?
Yeah.
This is second year in a billion years, something like that. That all 16 in the Sweet 16 are from major conferences. Like I said, there aren't those like kind of traditional Cinderellas. So yeah, power conference basketball, as strong as it's ever been.
Yeah, second straight year, like you said, all 16 teams in the Sweet 16 from a power conference, and only the second time ever.
Yeah, so that's what it was. It was the last 2 years are the only times ever that it's happened.
Which I don't know if that's good or bad for college basketball, but I think it's just a byproduct of the top programs can buy the talent.
I think that's exactly what it's a product of. I think we have to accept that one-game upsets need to be considered Cinderellas. Like High Point, that's a Cinderella run. High Point in years past may have turned into, a Sweet 16 or an Elite 8 team, but that's just not going to happen with the way talent all finds itself together in the power conferences. And also you get, Cinderellas like Texas. Right? That's an oxymoron, but a lower seed like Texas, an 11 seed going on a run. What a Cinderella.
Also, St. John's buzzer beater against Kansas was a lot of fun.
I have two names I want to put on there. Dylan Darling from St. John's and Chase Johnston from High Point get to be on the Dean's List for having absolutely no fear. Dylan Darling, the game winner for St. John's against Kansas, he had 0 points in the game before that shot. 0. He averages 7 points per game. He had taken 4 shots, missed them all. And then with time expiring, and Rick Pitino told the story after the game in the post-game presser. He called his own number, right? He's the point guard, and he went up to coach and said, run Denver or whatever the name of their play was. And Rick Pitino was like, okay, I kind of like that play. Yeah, maybe. And then he thought about it. He was like, wait, he has 0 points, and he's calling his own number right now. And he made the shot, won the game. And then Chase Johnston for High Point hit the game winner. It wasn't a buzzer beater, but it was a game-winning layup versus Wisconsin. It was his first two-pointer all season. He had made 71 field goals this year. They were all threes. 71 of 71 out of his made shots were threes. He made his only two-point bucket of the year to beat Wisconsin and send High Point to the next round. Those two guys, fearless. Absolutely fearless. And they make the Dean's List. If you have thoughts on the tournament, coaching hires, or anything else, Monday Sound Off coming up at 4:15. We'll open up the phone lines and let you know. But for now, the Dean's List is dismissed. And when we return, we're going to talk with Pat Welter of WRAL, sports reporter who has the latest on the Hubert Davis situation, and will pass it along to us. But first, Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. I've been talking about it this time of year a ton. I call Mainer Service Company the player that can do it all, right? You want a player that can shoot, dribble, pass, defend, rebound, can do it all. Well, guess what? Mainer Service Company, heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical. Their range is incredible, which means all across the triangle and 50 miles in any direction. They are always ready. They don't have to get ready. What does that mean? Well, 24-hour service, 7 days a week, every day, all year, all across the triangle. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. If you have anything going on, a weird drip that you're not used to hearing, your air conditioner isn't cooling as quickly as it used to. When it's just those early signs, call Mainer Service Company. You may be able to avoid bigger, more extensive repairs if you get them out there checking out your system regularly on a maintenance or a service schedule, or calling them up at the first signs of irregularities within your heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical system. When it comes to your house, don't play around. Call Mainer Service Company. Like a trusted veteran guard this time of year, right? You want the ball in their hands. Mainer Service Company. The number to call, 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993. Or you can visit them online at MainerServices.com, MAYNOR Services.com. NCAAtournament.com. We give you the latest out of Chapel Hill regarding Hubert Davis coming up next.
You know that feeling? That confident, swaggerific feeling that says, look at me, world, I know stuff. Own that feeling with PlaySmart, a fun new go-to resource from the North Carolina Education Lottery. With PlaySmart, get to know the odds, learn tips, set limits and budgets, and make the most of your play. Awesome feeling, right? Right. Play smart, the way smart players play. Visit ncplaysmart.com. Must be 18 to play. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
The NC Courage are back for the new season at First Horizon Stadium at WakeMed Soccer Park. Watch the Courage take on Bay FC Saturday, March 28th at 7 for Game Changers Night, honoring local youth players, presented by Bojangles. Reserve your seats now at nccourage.com.
Win big with a point card like the Cat Mini Excavator. Get up to $4,500 off select models during tournament season. Call Gregory Pool Cat at 919-609-7321. Mini size, major power, championship performance.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It takes a lot to distract the college basketball casual fan from things that are going on within the tournament of the teams that are still playing at this time of year. But the questions surrounding Hubert Davis and the coaching job at Carolina that he has done, and if he will continue to be welcome to do it, has definitely taken a good bit of the attention. And for that, we bring on Heister Automotive Group Hotline, on the Heister Automotive Group Hotline, Pat Welter, WRAL sports reporter. You can follow him on Twitter at Patrick Welter. Pat, we appreciate you for joining us. Good to see you as always. I feel like all of our conversations have just been about Tar Heels coaches over the last year. So I guess we'll transition from football to basketball here and just go, what's the latest? What are you hearing about Hubert Davis?
Well, I'll tell you what, there was a fire drill last night between me and my colleagues. We thought it might be coming out at midnight last night. And that's why you got to run down your sources, because between the three of us, me, Brian Murphy, Chris Lee, we're all working different angles, and we thought we had something and we chased it down. We couldn't confirm it, but I was certainly on high alert for this morning. I told a source last night, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna set my alarm at 6 a.m. I'm gonna start making phone calls again, because it feels like at any minute this could leak. There's two different things, right? There's what UNC wants, and then there's just somebody just saying, hey, I found out, I'm firsthand, it's real, giving it to a reporter, and then we're off and running. So, this is a really strange process. I think a lot of us were bracing for today. And the latest, Brian Murphy checking in with the administration, is that it doesn't seem like it's coming today. And then I wonder about tomorrow. We've got Belichick's spring practice and availability. And over the weekend, a lot of the hang-up was the fact that UNC was hosting, the women's tournament. And so now we're looking at Wednesday, and it's just we're really going to wait till Wednesday? Because I know that Hubert met with the team on Saturday, the players. Mm-hmm. And I know that now there are individual player meetings scheduled starting for tomorrow, Tuesday. So is this coach who that everybody essentially thinks is not coming back. Now, there is a slim chance he does, right? That the door is still open for a return. But we're really going to meet with players and their families and their agents and talk about the future when nobody knows what that future is. So, nothing at UNC is easy. I think it's the bottom takeaway. It's never simple. It's never clean.
How much of it is complicated by the fact that he is like one of them, right? He's the legendary player. He's been the assistant coach, and there is a certain, I don't know, like honor you want to be paid to him, even if this does have to go away that he isn't excited about.
I think that's part of it from the UNC perspective, like doing the due diligence of, what did we keep getting when we reach out to, Newmark and Bubba Cunningham and people within the administration is kind of these, doctored kind of statements of we're having ongoing conversations and discussions. And a lot of that is what you're saying is the logistics. It's making sure that the women's tournament isn't stepped on. It's making sure that we're not making an emotional decision. But this really isn't an emotional decision. Like, this is a 5-year decision. Like, he's had a runway here to do this. And the more we get farther and farther away from the national championship appearance, the more and more that looks like an outlier. And I think from the outside, you'll see different national people or people that are friends of Hubert look at this and be like, he made a national championship. He's made the Sweet 16. He's only missed the tournament once, and you're going to fire this guy that's, the heir apparent to Roy Williams and Dean Smith. It's like, but if you've really lived it, you know that this really hasn't been right since the beginning. That first team was lucky to get into the tournament. That next team didn't make the tournament at all with almost the exact same starting 5. And that's when you knew something was wrong. And a lot of the things that I'm hearing now, I was hearing then. Hubert, has struggled to kind of manage the people on the roster. He's struggled to find guards that fit. He's struggled to manage people. He's struggled with his staff. He struggled with the identity of the program and the teams he has, which all equals the lack of consistency that we've seen on the court. So, he's not a bad guy, right? But he's a guy that is a little bit distanced with the media. Talking to somebody yesterday, I told him, I've been covering Hubert for 5 years. I have no relationship with Hubert. And this person was like, we're basically on the team and we have no relationship with Hubert. So he's a unique guy, and it's his quirks have led, I think, to some of the dysfunction in his regime.
We're talking with Pat Welter, WRAL sports reporter, about the latest out of Chapel Hill regarding Hubert Davis, of which it just seems like everybody's in a waiting pattern. You brought up the things you've heard often, and I saw this in one of your tweets, that development of players is something that's popped up a few times. But then there was like a little bright spot for Marcus Page. How do you look at the hire and Marcus Page, obviously former UNC point guard that is now on the staff. How do you look at Hubert's loyalty or assembling of his staff and how that's played into all of this?
It's a factor for like the people on the team. And, we don't live in a vacuum here, right? Like Duke is here and Duke is a well-oiled machine. And John Shire has assembled this staff, and he's already had now multiple people go on to head coaching jobs. Evan Brad's most recently, Jay Lucas last season. And people keep bringing up to me, it's like, where's our coaching tree? We have no coaching tree. Like, one of the reasons this is such a challenging hire is because there's nobody in the Carolina family that is at least an obvious name. And yeah, Marcus Page was thrown out to me as somebody that is doing good work and is doing good work with the players on this team. And the quote was, Marcus Page can't work out everybody. But I also get, in fairness to the other assistants, I don't know it's that they are necessarily bad coaches or aren't doing a good job. I think it's that Hubert hasn't empowered his staff, and even until this season, he didn't have a GM. I think there's too much on his plate. And I think an issue that comes up as well with him is accountability. How many press conferences have you seen with Hubert Davis when the result is we didn't play hard enough with enough energy, effort, enthusiasm?
Hunger and thirst.
He has that thirst and hunger every single day, but the teams rarely reflect it. And rarely, though, does he put the onus on him. And I see John Shire do the opposite, where it's like, I didn't put my players in the best positions to succeed. And that kind of thing I think is wearing on people around the program.
I don't know if you've kind of taken the leap that so many others have, but do you think maybe the delay is trying to get the next guy into the right spot, or at least a good idea of who the next guy is going to be? And if so, any names or kind of leans on that kind of next step that would come once we find out the news that a lot of people are expecting?
No, I don't know for a fact that the reason that the delay is that they're looking for the next coach. I think that is reasonable to deduce, right? It makes a lot of sense. You don't want to get, I was just in a meeting and we were talking and it was like, yeah, you don't want to be Penn State, who moves on from a coach and is hanging out to dry. You know, if you're UNC, you just got Florida, just got bounced, and now Golden is available to talk to. And I think we all know how this works. Like, even if you're playing, there's ways to back channel these kind of conversations. A name that's come up to me through multiple people, not saying that I know the UNC is interested in him, but it's a name that's being floated in circles. And I was speaking to an agent yesterday, and he mentioned, you know, the Iowa State coach. He seems like a great fit. You know, the Vanderbilt coach, a guy that has risen up to different levels, succeeded at a prestigious, good academic university. You know, there's some names out there. Like, that's the thing. Like, you're not going to get the Carolina family hire that you wanted, but you're going to be able to get the great hot coach, you know, and we've seen this, the way this is translated. Like, I mean, Florida right now with Todd Golden, 1 seed. Michigan, who hired Dusty May, who was a hot name once upon a time. Now Michigan's a 1 seed. Like, this can be done. It's up to UNC to have a strong search. Like, the problem with UNC, you know, compared to like NC State, is like, the way it's been explained to me is like, NC State has alignment in their decision-making. They just don't have the money. UNC has the money. They got no alignment. I mean, there are so many cooks in the kitchen. I mean, now the board of trustees has been stripped of some of its power in the process, which from a reporting standpoint, it's less people that you can get telling you different things. So I don't necessarily love it, but it's, you know, it streamlines it in one regard. And that was a big factor in the Bill Belichick hire. So, you know, there's still just a lot of people to appease. I mean, you got Roy Williams. Like, Roy Williams has to sign off on this, essentially. The former players, and then the athletic director. Oh, and the athletic director in waiting. You know, and the chancellor, who's ultimately the highest power on the pecking order at UNC. So, I mean, it is a complex web that everyone over there has to navigate.
How much did and we're talking with Pat Welter, WRAL sports reporter, how much did the collapse against TCU change everything? If they make it to the second round and lose by 10 in a game that's, you know, not as dramatic, are we having these same conversations? Or even if the first round is just a more back and forth, lose by 2 kind of game, like how much did that TCU game lead us to where we are right now?
Yeah, no, I think everyone on the beat had been getting indications really all season that Hubert Davis's job was not in jeopardy this season. You know, I think heading into the year, the consensus was that, kind of like to quote Will Wade, they needed to be among the best teams in the ACC regular season and make the NCAA tournament and get out of the first weekend. You know, and they lose Caleb Wilson. So that's an excuse, right? But again, for the people that are in it every day, they know that this is bigger than Caleb Wilson. That in a lot of ways, I would say now, having been here front row center for 5 years, and this isn't just me talking, this is some people I've talked to around the team that have told me a lot of the success UNC has had under Hubert Davis has been in spite of Hubert Davis because they get great talent. There are great players that come through there where you put the onus on the coaches. Is he getting the most out of them? And that game, the VCU game, stirred all that up. It stirred up 5 years of frustration because of that second half 19-point lead given up, which echoes the national title that they should have won versus Kansas. And for a lot of similar reasons, 6-man rotation he goes to in the second half. And people are so mad right now, Tim, about that 6-man rotation in the second half and some of the defensive calls that were made in that game. And then Hubert's lack of accountability since has really upset a lot of people close to the team, within the team. You know, and I know that in the ACC tournament that I saw some people behind the scenes that I was just kind of striking up some small chat, just, oh, you know, hey, it's understandable, late night game, and first game, the other team had played a game, and it's like, no, we got to be better than that. Like, we can't no show ACC tournament. So, the decision makers at UNC aren't stupid. Like with Mac Brown, they knew after James Madison, and it's just that there's a lot of things going on over there. So I know that people know that this isn't meeting the standard. It's just there's also a lot of things going on that you got to also work on too. A lot of spinning plates.
Pat, we appreciate it. I'll keep following along. Obviously, when the news breaks, we know you over there at your crew over there at WRAL will be on top of it. So we appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Sam. From the Belichick hire to the Belichick mess to the Hubert Davis, will he or won't he leave saga, I'm your guy.
There we go. Pat Welter from WRAL. Follow him on Twitter at Patrick Welter. That's WELTER for the latest. Appreciate it, Pat. Goodness, that was a I think that was a good, and I'm not saying that this is what Pat was trying to do. I think it's a good cold glass of water to the face for a lot of people out there. Meaning it's not just this year. It's not just the Caleb Wilson injury and, you have a bad loss and now all of a sudden everybody wants Hubert. It is the VCU stirred up 5 years of frustration, right? The success that he's had has been in spite of Hubert Davis. These are things that he just said to us. That's I think the bigger issue here, right? Because you start talking about Hubert Davis' job security, a lot of people bring up, what is he supposed to do? Caleb Wilson's a top 5 player. He got hurt. It's not just this year. It's not just this year is probably the appropriate response to that. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you again to Pat for jumping on the show. We have football at 4 coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Hey friends, Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. Baseball season opening week, and FanDuel is letting you choose your own reward for opening week, betting customizations that transform how you experience the game. Make your choice, and the reward will be ready to use on your next MLB bet, because FanDuel is the home of home runs. And if I'm going to lay down a little scratch on some home runs, I bleed Dodger blue, so it's Shohei Ohtani all the way. Also, I'm a big Cal Raleigh guy, too, of the Seattle Mariners. Big dumper. Head to FanDuel.com/Paul. Choose your reward for MLB's opening week. FanDuel.com/Paul. So, you ready to play your game? FanDuel, official partner of the MLB. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Big temperature swings. It's another warm one today. 79 degrees. Temperatures gradually dropping this afternoon. It's becoming breezy with some winds gusting 20 to 25, and that means high fire danger for today. We drop into the upper 30s tonight, and then we're chilly tomorrow with upper 50s under mostly sunny skies.
4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell up 631 points today to 46,208.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If your bracket is completely busted, your final's looking something like, I don't know, like Florida, Virginia or something like that. If your bracket is completely busted, that's okay. You've come to us at the right time because at 4 o'clock we talk football, and we're still at the point of the football season where everybody is optimistic. Every team is going to win everything. Which, by the way, where did Roseboom sign? Let's update everybody on that. I saw Christian Roseboom sign kind of right before the show. He signed, he's in the division.
Just like Ashawn Robinson.
Look at that. So Christian Roseboom, who was really a hired hand last year for the Panthers, came in after they already had some attrition off-ball backer, had a good season, and now he's playing for the enemy. So it's the last compliment you'll hear from me, Roseboom. Flower Bomb, one of the greatest nicknames of all time. His last name is Rose Boom. His nickname was Flower Bomb. It's fantastic. All right, now that's the last thing. The other news that happened in the NFL, a bit more, I guess you could say, noteworthy than Christian Roseboom signing. Jackson Smith and Jigba also signed an extension, and I don't know what the I don't know what the value was on Roseboom signing, but I imagine you could fit about 30 of them inside this year alone for Jackson Smith and Jigba when you include signing bonuses and everything. Jackson Smith and Jigba, wide receiver for the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, finalized a 4-year, $168.6 million extension. $42.15 million per year on the extension. He does get $120 million in guarantees. Now that is tacked on to the end of one more year, his 5th-year option. So I think the total value of what he has under contract with Seattle moving forward is somewhere in the just north of $38 million per year. Do with that what you will. Wide receivers are getting paid quarterback money is what I take away from that.
It wasn't that long ago that Pat Mahomes signed for $45 million a year.
And that felt outlandish. When he signed for 45, it was, oh, no. Now it's like the most team-friendly deal in the league. But at the time, it was, goodness gracious, how are they going to be able to afford it? That's crazy. Sam Darnold doesn't make $38 million a year. Right? The quarterbacks who have recently signed for an overwhelmingly high amount of money are obviously more than that, but there's going to be 50% of the starters at quarterback this year that don't make Jackson Smith and Jigba money. So what could the Carolina Panthers learn from this? Well, what do you do when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract? Or what do you do when you know your quarterback is due for a new contract? What do you do when you know a quarterback is something you're going to have to shop for in the offseason if you're going the free agency route? Do you know what you do? Clear cap space. Because you need it. Because quarterbacks aren't going to fit into that, hey, if we restructure Ashawn Robinson, we get a couple dollars back. We'll use that to get a quarterback. It doesn't work in that window. It takes years to be able to have enough money to break the bank for a quarterback. And it's why it is the advantage of as soon as you know your quarterback is the guy, signing him to an extension so you can frame that in the way you want and have the void years and make the cap hit where you want it to, the years you want it to. And it's why it's so important that when you have your quarterback on a rookie contract, you pay everyone else on the roster so they're happy and for lack of a better term, fat and fed by the time it gets more difficult to pay players when you have to pay your quarterback. So now, if you have to pay receivers quarterback money, you have to start doing the same thing. Tetairoa McMillan was Rookie of the Year as a wide receiver for the Carolina Panthers. If you anticipate reasonable improvements over each of the next 2 years, right? He goes from just over 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns to, say, 1,150 this year and 8 touchdowns. And then the next year, it's a breakout. He goes for 13 and 10. Guess what? You better be planning to pay him because he's eligible for an extension that offseason. So, yeah, like the years where you can splurge on a Jalen Phillips, right? The years where you can take care of a Derek Brown, a J.C. Horn, I'm not saying they go away once whoever your quarterback is, whether it's Bryce Young or you're saving up to pay a different quarterback, and Tetero McMillan come asking for cash. It's not impossible to play other positions. Let me say that again. Pay other positions handsomely. It's just way more difficult. Way more difficult. I always use the example of the Chiefs when talking about this. Right? Patrick Mahomes was on a rookie contract. And when he was on a rookie contract, it was very easy to have Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and mix in like Sammy Watkins and all these other guys that would come in on decently priced one-year deals because Pat Mahomes was on a rookie contract. And then for the next even 3-4 years after he's on a rookie contract, he could have kind of planned, right? Make sure guys get their cash when he's not hitting the cap as aggressively and kind of extend that another 2, 3, 4 years. But then eventually it's just like, no, this cap hit is hitting. And that's where you end up trading Tyreek Hill. And now, okay, great, we're paying all this money. You better get it done with Tyreek Hill on another team, and you have Travis Kelce and a band of misfits at wide receiver. And it's why every single time they have a defensive back that plays really, really well for Kansas City, it's almost like a burden for them. They're like, oh, darn, we're going to have to trade him. Call the Rams. We can't afford him. They've done it a bunch of times. And every time they do, it's because they know who they have to pay, right? They have to pay Chris Jones. They have to pay Pat Mahomes. They have to pay Travis Kelce. And then they go from there. If Tetero McMillan keeps working, what's 2 more years of inflation on the wide receiver market going to do? Because Puka Nacua isn't going to go, cool, I'll have a little bit less than Jackson Smith and Jigba had. He's going to go, cool, I'll have a little bit more. And then Malik Neighbors, if he's healthy this year and has a gigantic season, you think he's going to go, cool, I'll have less than Puka. No, he's going to say, I'll have a little bit more. And then what is Tetero McMillan going to say? I would like to, when I'm visiting my home in Hawaii, take private jets. Like, that's what he's going to be saying. It's that kind of money. So the Panthers, by the way, I trust that they've thought of this 1,000 times before it ever popped into my brain, right? Because Brant Tillis is a wizard, a cap wizard. I guarantee they're already doing it, but I think next year or like a year from now, next offseason, you're going to start to see decisions that make you kind of go like, really? They're not going to be in on that guy, or they're not going to give a contract extension to that guy. And I think it's going to be because they're aware a quarterback and a wide receiver contract is coming their way soon. And, I mean, just pick a Brock Purdy contract is $53 million per year. If a Tetero McMillan deal falls somewhere in the 40 range, that's $93 million per year to 2 guys. And I know cap hits wouldn't be that every year, but that's a lot of money to 2 guys. You better plan for it. But again, they're good at it. And I think that's why Brant Tillis is who he is. Not saying Dan Morgan couldn't or doesn't do it by himself, but it does appear as if Dan Morgan leans on Brant Tillis for that sort of thing. If you've watched any of the behind-the-scenes videos, it just seems like, you know, he's kind of like, let me run it by Brant. Let me run it by Brant. And they do a little two-headed monster thing. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And I do think once you get to those years, overpaying for like a guard or a running back, that does go away a little bit more. You can usually find the money for the premium positions, but not as much for the others.
You better draft well.
Absolutely better draft well.
Yeah.
Or bargain hunt very, very well. Find those veterans that want one more shot. That's why it's really important to be good too, because then you get all those ring chasers. Like if you're a legitimate conference champion contender, you'll get guys willing to take 1 year lower deals to go win. If you're paying a ton of money to your quarterback and wide receiver and not winning, that's going to ruin all those ring chaser discounts that you need. That's something the Chiefs have taken a lot of advantage of. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I was started to think this, and then I had more thoughts. It's dangerous. I should stop that. Let's go ahead and jump to Dennis, who has something to tell you.
I do. Dennis Cox here, real quick, for my good friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, you're running out of time. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com. caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win an absolutely gorgeous Ducati motorcycle. That's right, a Ducati motorcycle, and not just any Ducati motorcycle, folks, because the Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle. Simple to enter. You just go to caniacsbike.com. It really is that simple. It takes like a minute to enter in. Want more information about the rules and entry? It's right there on the bottom of the page. Go to caniacsbike.com. But it's not just any motorcycle. It's not just, hey, here's a Ducati motorcycle. Let's slap some stickers on it and call it a custom Canes bike. No. This is truly custom painted by Shiny Side Paint, located right here in Raleigh. The details on it are absolutely fantastic. Not a spot on the bike missed. The decals, the colors, the logos, everything about it, it's pure Canes fandom, folks. You can get this bike. You can win this bike if you enter at caniacsbike.com. The deadline to enter is this Sunday, the 29th. But don't wait. Just do it right now. caniacsbike.com. It will be given away. The bike, that is, will be given away live on the ice April 4th, and it includes tickets to a catered suite as well. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter now for your chance to win. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is opening up the phone lines. We have a Monday Soundoff coming up. Hubert Davis, should he be the coach next year of Carolina? If not, who should? That could be one starting point. Will Duke win the national championship? Another starting point. How good are the Canes when it comes to Stanley Cup chances? These are just jumping off points. You can take this in whatever direction you want. That's why we call it a Monday Soundoff. You call in, you sound off, we react. The phone number, 919-860-5326. Heister Automotive Group hotline is open right now for your calls. 919-860-5326. Monday Soundoff coming up.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Save the date. Give UNC returns March 24th. Are you ready to leave your mark? Support the passion, determination, and excellence of the people who make UNC Chapel Hill a place like no other at giveunc.unc.edu.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. We take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We've opened up the phone lines for a Monday Soundoff. Heaster Automotive Group hotline 919-860-5326. If you call in and you don't get through, keep calling, okay? We will open up lines as we go. We want to hear from as many of you as possible. Corey in Raleigh will be our leadoff hitter. Corey in Raleigh, welcome to the show. Says you want to sound off on Hubert Davis. Let's hear it.
Yes, sir, Tim. I appreciate you having me again. I'm one of those fans that I've defended Hubert in arguments for a long time, and I thought that we would get some progression out of him as a coach, and I feel like we really haven't seen that. We have had our worst loss against State under him, our worst loss against Duke. We've had 2 historic losses when it comes to championships, first round. For every good feeling he's given me, for every miracle that he's given me, there's something on the back end that is just as bad. And I'm not saying championship or bust, but there has to be a better standard. I just feel like we're starting to become like an NC State type school, and I'm not cool with that. I don't know who we would replace him with. I mean, Kenny the Jet, if it's in family, maybe Joel Berry, bring him in. I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but I defended him for long enough, and I can't do it anymore. There's just too many circumstances, and people always talk about the major things, but as a diehard fan, there has been a lot of games where there has been 18, 20-point deficits where we've had to claw back to that people just don't remember and talk about. But there's a common denominator with him, and he's had a lot of different players, a lot of different teams, but there's definitely a common denominator. I love him as a coach. I hate it. I love him as a person. I think he's a really great guy, and I've talked to him on several occasions to the games I go to and afterwards and signatures and stuff. But we got to do better, man. As not just at coaching, but as a whole organization.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the call there. That is great rivalrying. To be so down on your team that you compare them to a rival and say, I'm not okay with that, is such like, yeah, we're down, but we're not them. That's fantastic. But the development argument is a good one. One of the main critiques I've heard as everybody kind of starts to air their grievances about Hubert Davis is a player development issue, meaning if a guy's there 4 years, what does he get a lot better at over those 4 years? Is it noticeable? And if it's not, why isn't it? The development of Hubert is an interesting one. Like, are you seeing a better coach now than you saw 4 or 5 years ago? Because if that's not the case, that's something that's just as wrong, right? A coach has to be able to develop individually just as much as they have to be able to develop the players and coaches that are, underneath them in the program. Let's go back to the call-in line. Bob in Raleigh on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline wants to sound off on the Carolina Hurricanes. Bob, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, Hurricanes to make the cup, that's 85%er, 90% probably. I definitely think they're going to make the cup, but to get past one of those Western Conference teams, bruh, we're looking at like 60% probably to come home with the cup, maybe 50, 55. Them Avalanche are tough, dude, and so are the Stars. Oh, gosh, if we got to face one of them, bro, we might be cooked. As cooked as Hubert Davis is, you know what I'm saying? The only thing that's going to save Carolina is Coach K coming and coaching them. Oh, they are cooked, bro. They are going to be the NC State of Chapel Hill. That's hilarious.
Bob, you sound pretty hilarious if we're being real right now. That's a great call. Thank you very much. Thanks for calling in.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Do you know what that is? That is somebody who is a fan of a team that is in not a bad place, talking about a team they don't like that is in a tough situation and is just kicking back, feet up, maybe a drink with an umbrella in it, and he's just going like, oh, UNC. Yeah, let's talk about UNC. Let me throw a jab in here at NC State as well. Ha, ha, ha. Maybe The Coach K reference, you know what the Coach K reference reminded me of? Remember the legendary SNL Da Bear skits where Mike Ditka could do anything? They're like, what was it, a storm? Like a tornado against a hurricane. Who's going to win? But wait, the hurricane is named Hurricane Ditka. Bob and Coach K have that relationship. That's funny. Also, if you want to give an 85 or 90% chance that they make the Stanley Cup final and then a 50 to 55 or whatever you said, 60% chance they win once they get there, I will take those odds.
I'd like those odds.
Sign me up. He was saying it like it was an insult. I think that's very good odds.
I'll take it better than 50% chance of winning in the Cup final. Absolutely.
I will take that. And an 85 or 90% chance of getting there?
I'm in.
I'm there. Let's go to Isaiah in Wake Forest next up on the call-in line. Has a few different things he wants to sound off on. So, Isaiah, welcome to the show. Take it away.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I just want to build off what Corey said. I love Hubert Davis. I love him. I don't think you're ever going to find many people who are going to say something bad about his character. I think he's a great person. And I'm struggling to say this, but I don't think he's the coach for us anymore. We had that magical run in 2022, but what people forget to say is we were up by 16 at halftime in that game, and we let them come back. Same thing happened against VCU. We were up by 19 in that second half, and we let them come right back. We had a 9-man rotation in the first half against VCU. We dropped down to a 6-man rotation in the second half. I have no idea why. I feel like you could clearly tell Seth Trimble, Henry Vasar were gassed. You knew you'd need them down the stretch. Zayden High and Jaden Young and those guys, they're not bad players. They're good enough players that you put them in for 5-6 minutes, they're going to contribute enough to give them breathers so that they can contribute down the stretch. Tired legs can't hit jump shots. They can't play good defense. They can't hit free throws. And if you can't do those, you aren't going to win close games in the NCAA tournament. It's as easy as that. But before you fire him, you have to make sure you have somebody better.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this bit with Stephen A. on First Take. He wanted Kenny Smith. I don't know if that's going to happen, but he said that if Kenny Smith was at UNC, those All-Americans that are all just going to Duke without even thinking about it, they would reconsider. They would say, what about UNC? Kenny Smith, he was a dang good basketball player, Hall of Famer. Should we go to UNC? Maybe he knows ball. And John Shire, he wasn't as good as Kenny Smith was. So we got to have somebody like that who can compete with the likes of the Duke Blue Devils when it comes to recruiting. But he also has to be a good coach. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, I appreciate it. Lot to get to there. I'm always, I don't want to say nervous, but trepidatious about guys with no coaching experience. Like Kenny Smith, as far as I know, he went straight from playing to TNT and hasn't coached. Although I also have heard that his sons are pretty good basketball players, so at least it might come with some immediate recruiting advantages. But no, I think you go a coaching route. Keeping it inside the Carolina family is so limiting, if we're being real. If you think there's maybe 3 great coaches that are available any given year, what are the chances that one of them happens to go to your university? It's just the percentages are small.
Well, like you talked about with Pat Welter, now you and I were talking about this in the office earlier, is that where's the coaching tree?
Mm-hmm.
Like where's someone that has been part of UNC's staff, that has been part of their staff, that has been hired by a mid-major somewhere, or even by, eventually got a job as a power coach? I mean, the closest is Wes Miller, who's about to get the job in Charlotte after getting fired from Cincinnati. That's the closest thing you've ever had to a coaching tree.
Yeah, and I know that Carolina fans hate constantly comparing it to Duke, but when Coach K retired, it was like, well, it could be any of the assistant coaches at Duke. It could be Chris Collins, who's coaching at Northwestern. It could be Johnny Dawkins, who's coaching at UCF. Was Wojo still at Marquette at the time? Blakeney was at somewhere, and this guy was at somewhere, and this guy was an assistant somewhere, and this guy was somewhere. There's a lot of different options there, all within that coaching tree. Granted, Coach K had been around for 1 billion years, so maybe it's not apples to apples. Let's go back to the call-in line. Robert in Raleigh wants to sound off, and he's on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. That's where you do it. Robert, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. All of us listeners invest a lot of time in you guys, so it's nice when we have a weekend. You guys always come through. My first star of the weekend is definitely Dennis Cox with a great question for Hubert. like the next day, he's all over the network, ESPN
Correct.
network. So great job by our guys. Thank you so much for that, Dennis. Okay, I'm going to be brief, hang up, listen to what you say. I know there's a shot clock, but anybody that remembers Raleigh Massimino, didn't Dean Smith invent the four corners and literally just go four corners, even with a shot clock with a 19-point lead? I would find it psychologically debilitating to the other team. I'm going to hang up and listen to what you have to say. I don't know why teams don't do that with that big a lead. Thanks. Bye.
I appreciate it. Dennis, you were on the phone getting our next guy lined up. He gave you the star of the weekend for the question of
I
of
appreciate
Hubert.
that, Robert.
So want to make sure you heard the praise. Four corners, I think the obvious answer is you shouldn't have to. A 19-point lead, I mean, I guess you could wait a little bit to initiate your offense. You shouldn't have to. It's a 19-point lead. Play good defense, play maybe conservative offense, but you shouldn't have to go four corners and truly waste time. Also, what does that tell your team? Like, you can't even run normal offense without turning it over? Like, should have some confidence, and they should make good on that confidence. Let's go to Nick in Durham. Next up on the Heaster Automotive Group hotline, which, by the way, you can call into as well. It's a Monday Soundoff, 919-860-5326. Lines are starting to open up a little bit here. I know they were clogged early and people weren't getting through. So call in if you tried and couldn't get through, 919-860-5326. As promised, we go to Nick in Durham up next. Nick, welcome to the show. Happy to hear from you. What do you got?
Hey, just wanted to give a quick shout-out to Duke men and women's basketball getting to the Sweet 16 again, especially the women getting the revenge over Baylor for the first loss of the season. Just great to see the turnaround the women's team has had since they had their really poor start to the year. Kara Lawson's just done a great job getting that team where they need to be and hoping they keep it moving.
All right. We'll pass along those kudos to the Duke men's and women who are still playing. North Carolina women still playing as well. So there's some women's basketball in the Triangle hitting the full steam ahead at this moment. Duke won, what was it, 69-46, I think I saw. Like they kind of dirtied Baylor. And they catch LSU next, and the women of Carolina are waiting for the winner of UConn and Syracuse. So they could have a real tough one up next.
Yeah, that game's tonight, later on tonight.
Yep, 6 o'clock start as I look at the bracket right here.
No, Virginia and Iowa are in double overtime in women's basketball right now.
Virginia and Iowa, I didn't see that one.
Yeah, they're actually playing right now.
All the way down there at the bottom of the bracket. You're right.
Yep.
Let's go ACC. If the men aren't going to make it happen in the ACC, the women need to get 3 or 4 teams through to the Sweet 16. What we got? Louisville still going. Carolina, Duke, might have Virginia. Do we count Notre Dame? Is Notre Dame still going? I think they were. Maybe not. Women, go be the flag bearers of the ACC. Let's go back to Talking Hoops. Let's go back to the Heaster Automotive Group hotline. We have Jeff in Raleigh next up on the line. Jeff, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
How you doing, Tim? Yeah, I wanted to just sound off about your the mothership. This morning, 4 out of the first 5 callers were one of the gentlemen that called in earlier, not defending Hubert Davis, but then there were 3 or 4 others, and I just want to tell you, ESPN is so well represented by 99.9. I mean, I'm going back, Hader Zarzar, Bo, Durham, Packer, all these guys, and now you guys, you're just carrying it on. And my other point was just about programs. All these teams having their standards and programs, forget about that. That's yesteryear. Whoever's got money and NIL and knows how to navigate and build a roster is going to be ahead of the guy going through like what Hubert did, what they've always done. And then he botched that interview so bad he may never work again, or at least not as a head coach. That's all I had to say, and continued success to the ACC for those that are left.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words at the beginning of that call, and I'll address some of the stuff you said there. first of all, you're right. Like, wins follow money. Don't get me wrong. But let's not act like every team is spending money the same amount of effectively. That's bad grammar, but I think you know what I mean there. Carolina has cash. They might not have number one in the country cash, but they have cash. And they also have the things that used to be everything, brand, ability to put someone in the NBA, student experience, location, like that used to be everything. Now that's just how you maximize your money, right? Carolina, I don't think has to outbid for the number one player in the country. I think they got to get close. If they're competing against, I don't know, like a BYU or something, you don't have to outbid. You just have to get close because you're Carolina. That's worth something. And the best coaches should be excited to coach at Carolina for that reason. Oh, you mean I don't have to offer as much and I can still get the player? That's huge. Unless there's, like some, I don't know, quiet billionaire that's sitting like going, I'll give you $1 billion a year to get a roster. That's always gonna trump right now, trump whatever else you got going on. But I don't think that Carolina is just like everywhere else. And just there's a handful of those teams. It's not just Carolina, but they're definitely one of them. Let's go to Reggie in Sanford. Wants to sound off on UNC as well. Reggie, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, how's it going, Tim?
Going well. Happy to hear from you. What do you got?
Yeah, I want to say this about the coaching thing. I don't go a little bit on the left. I remember like a few weeks ago, Jeff Capel was in that, in the talks about his coaching future, but he decides to retain. My question would be, what will it say to UNC if they get rid of Hubert Davis?
What will it say to UNC if they get rid of Hubert Davis? That's the question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because...
No, go ahead.
Because Pitt, they've been, I guess, for at least about 3 seasons, they haven't really been up to par. Last year they missed the tournament, ACC tournament. And it was terrible this season. Bearing injuries and stuff. But Pitt trusts the process. So what would it say to UNC?
I got you. Okay, I appreciate the call. I'll do my best to answer it there. I don't think you can compare decisions made by Pitt and Carolina because they are inherently in different business and winning and standard situations. The other thing I'd say is I don't think you can, like if you're Carolina, I don't think you can send a bad message by simply saying our standards are recklessly high. Right? You can say we love Hubert, like I'm saying if they decide to move on from Hubert Davis, if you just say no matter how much we love you as a person, no matter how much you're part of our family, if you're not making it out of the first round of the NCAA tournament, at least a majority, over 50% of the time, we can't be okay with that. That's no fan base is going to be mad to hear that. Fan bases like having high expectations, high standards, because then they get to do the same. All right, let's rip through these last 3 callers. We have just enough time for 3. So if you didn't get through, we apologize. We do this every Monday. Let's jump to Tyler and Creedmoor. Tyler, you want to sound off on Hubert Davis as well? We want to hear it. What do you got?
I want to sound off on his recruiting job, how bad I think he did.
Okay.
And how bad he coached it. Because he wants to bring in Kyle Evans, which is one of the most expensive players they brought in. And at Colorado State, off the ball. And then he wants to bring him in as a point guard and realizes that's not working. And instead of trying to run him at the 2, he just goes straight to benching him. And then late in the year, he tried to swap it out with Jaden Young. Try to run Jaden Young at the point. Jaden Young at the 2 guard, he's not good at the 2. And I'm just trying to figure out how that's not coaching. It's got to be on the coach.
I think that is an astute observation. I'll tell you why. I appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. The same thing we do with arguments where Like, that coach can't be coach of the year. His players are so good, anybody could coach it. And we're going like, well, assembling the roster is a part of being a college coach. Mm-hmm. You can't say like, well, it's not – he's a good coach. He just doesn't have the talent. I'm going like, well, do you think he didn't choose him? Like, do you think he wasn't a part of the room that brought in these players? The irony is Caleb Wilson got hurt, and everybody points to that. And we go, the thing holding him back when Caleb Wilson was healthy is the same thing holding him back when Caleb Wilson was hurt. It's the perimeter, right? He wasn't playing point guard no matter how healthy his right thumb or left hand is. Like, he's a big man, and the big men have been playing well even without Caleb Wilson. It's the perimeter wasn't put together in a way that was going to have a lot of success. They were going to try to overcome that with talent elsewhere.
I think what Tyler is getting to is something that I've talked about, you and I have talked about here on air when it comes to, especially when we do confidence and concerns for UNC basketball, is that guys didn't have clearly defined roles on the team. That was a big thing. It's like even at the ACC tournament, even in the NCAA tournament, I was like, what's Luka Bogovic's role?
And
like, what's his role? Even before the injuries with with Wilson and all that, what is the role? I think that's what he's getting to. Like, what are the roles for these guys? I don't think they even knew.
I think part of it was they had a role with nobody that could fill it.
Yeah.
So they had to just keep going, like, hey, round peg, square hole. Nope. Hey, round peg, square hole. Nope. And everyone's going around going, like, I was brought in to play the square peg role, and they're like, yeah, we got 12 square pegs. We can't put you all there. You know what I mean? Like, we've got 12 two guards, and we need a one guard. So we'll figure it out, and they just never really did. Back to the call line. We have Ryan on I-40, also wants to sound off on Hubert Davis. Ryan, welcome to the show. Go ahead and sound off.
Hey, Tim. Hey, everybody. What's up? It's Ryan, your mama's favorite oyster distributor. Long time, first time. I'm calling for two things. One, when you talk about the UNC team, the collapse in the championship game, that was without Baycott. Baycott was hurt. He was hurt almost the whole tournament. And then you have Caleb Wilson going down this year. So if you want to fire somebody, I say go after the strength and conditioning coaches. If you're going to go, I don't think they should be fired, but if you're going to go after, you want to fire somebody, it should be those guys. We've got to keep the kids healthy. The second thing is, for the caller that called in about the four corners, why we can't run that, there's something called the 5-second rule. That's 101 in basketball. If you don't know that, you don't need to be listening to sports radio, and you definitely don't need to be calling for a coach to get fired. Thank you so much.
All right. Angry, first of all. Also, four corners you can pass. Just the 5-second rule would reset every time you pass or dribble or do anything. He just meant using the whole shot clock. But I digress.
You also have to be closely guarded.
I don't agree with the idea that four corners is good, but then also that wasn't exactly the perfect rebuttal. Also, you don't know my mama. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if she ranks her oyster distributors. I don't even know if that was meant as a actual business plug or if there's some kind of joke there that I'm not in on. But that is, I think, the biggest question about Hubert Davis. Oh, Baycott was hurt. Oh, Wilson was hurt. Oh, this year, remember the ref's call. And this year, remember that guy. And this guy, remember that. You're never going to go through a college basketball season without something to point to and go, that was adversity. The best coaches overcome it, not every year, but at a good amount of years. You know what I mean? Like there's got to be some accountability, or else you'll just go through. It's. Have you ever seen somebody handle like LeBron's championships as a LeBron hater? And they just go like, Klay Thompson was hurt this year. Wasn't actually the best team. This one was in the bubble, Mickey Mouse championship. This one, Ray Allen stepped out of bounds, not actually a championship. And then they're like, by the end, turns out 0 championships for LeBron. You're just going to be the reverse of that. This year, no championship, but Baycott was hurt. This year, no championship, but Caleb Wilson was hurt. This year, no championship, but the refs were in favor of this team. This year, they didn't even make the conference tournament or the NCAA tournament, but that's because the committee was wrong. And then at the end, you're like, boom, 5 championships in 5 years, even though none of it actually happened. Eventually, 5 years is enough. That's like, so every year is just going to be an excuse. Let's finish it up. Tim in South Carolina, and we're actually going to finish it up on something other than basketball. Wants to sound off on Brandon Bussey of the Carolina Hurricanes. Tim, welcome to the show, and end our Monday sound off with a bang.
Let's do it. Hey, good afternoon, Tim. I wanted to sound off on Brandon Bussey. He really hasn't had a quality start since the Olympic break. quite frankly, I'm not sure that he's an NHL talent goaltender. I think he kind of had a little one-hit wonder run there for the couple months. I know the wins were incredible. And I brought this point up the last couple of weeks on this show and otherwise. I don't think he's going to be a guy that we can rely on in the playoffs whatsoever. I think we kind of need to have our fingers crossed if Frederik Andersen doesn't get hurt. He's been able to stay healthy this year, which is very encouraging because usually he doesn't. But if Freddie goes down, I think the Canes are cooked, to be honest with you. Duke is still going to win the tournament. I've been saying it the last couple of weeks. I will continue to say it until it happens. Then a quick something to recognize. Nikita Kucherov has 12 points in his last 3 games and 75 in his last 33. That's just insane. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on Brandon Bussey. Appreciate it. Thanks for taking my call.
Few things. I'm going to work in reverse there. Nikita Kucherov, insane. Just insane.
He should win the Hart.
And fun fact, if one of those stats pop up, the 75 and 33 games popped up on mine, and I clicked see more or expand or whatever on Twitter, and then there's just the algorithm goes, oh, you like Kucherov stats? Buckle up. And they just give you 9,000 different Kucherov stats that make you go, yeah, this guy's playing well. I don't even like this team. I don't particularly follow this player. I now have 9,000 fun facts about that guy, but he's on an absolute heater. Appropriate shout out. For Brandon Bussey, the only thing I would fight back on that is, just because he's 27 or however old he is, I still think we got to give him the rookie option, right? Where you play really well, you go through the lull. How do you react? We have to give him the bounce back opportunity that we give to every rookie, even though he's not technically a rookie. Not saying he's gonna answer positively, but everyone gets figured out. And then it's just, can you counterpunch off that? Or everybody gets lost in their brain a little bit, and then can you dig your way out of it? So we'll see. I'm not firmly on either side, but I will say 1.9 million per year kind of bakes in the possibility of, if it doesn't work, you're not hurt that bad. The contract is still very, 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 very low risk. Thank you to everybody. Was there anything else that he said there? Oh, he said Duke's going to win the championship.
Yeah.
Well, for the ACC's hopes and my bracket's hopes, I hope you are correct. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you to everybody that called in on a Monday. Sound off. If you didn't get through, I still want you to be a winner. Text keyword BULLS, BULLS, to 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to the Durham Bulls opening night in the Fan Zone on March 31st.
We'll be out there.
You're darn right we will. We'll do our live show there. Should be a fun environment. Opening day baseball is always great. But if you want a 4-pack, not a pair like we normally give away, a 4-pack, you and 3 friends, text BULLS, BULLS, to 919-860-5326. Coming up next, as the caller brought up, Duke could win it all, but the ACC is down to just one school. What does that say? I'll tell you next.
Move your sports day forward.
For teams who missed the tournament or took early losses, the time to reflect ended the morning after. The business of player retention is now key for your program, and the playing field is more level than it ever was as revenue shares in place. Your coach's pitch now focuses on, when do we get our next championship? Because that's the only currency your fan base cares about.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation, and whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check him out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Jackson Hewitt has a great tax prep deal, $149 or less. Missing out is like ignoring the check engine light in your car. You'll regret it. Seriously, the price is only $149 or less, no matter how complicated, so don't wait. Like when you get a password expires today alert or you're shopping online and there's only one item left. It's like your taxes are in the cart, just complete the purchase. Hurry! This deal for $149 or less is like your phone at 1%. It's about to power down. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
This hour of the drive is brought to you by Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call Law Tigers at 1-800-LAW-TIGERS before you call your insurance company. Case evaluations are always free, and you don't pay a dime until your case settles. Law Tigers, North Carolina's motorcycle lawyers.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So, to me, there's three big stories going on in the ACC right now when we talk men's basketball. One, coaching carousel. Okay, there's Syracuse hiring GMAC, Jerry McNamara. There's Pitt deciding to keep Jeff Capel. There's Boston College is still looking. Georgia Tech hired their guy. There's this coaching carousel that I think is extremely important. I'll tell you why in a second. Story number two, Duke's still playing, right? And these are not ranked in order. I'm just saying there are three. And the second one I'm mentioning, Duke's still playing. They're still one of the favorites to win it all. They are carrying whatever streaks the ACC has, right? However many years in a row with the Final Four team and all these things. So Duke carrying the flag for the ACC is the other. And then the third is, what happened to everybody else? I thought this was a better ACC year. Every other ACC team, their season is over, right? It is Duke, which is part of the story, and nobody else, which is the other part of the story. And I think the I don't know if this is the right word, confluence, the meeting, the intersection, that's what I'm looking for. The intersection of those three stories is Hubert Davis, right? Because if you look at the teams that got, I would say, like closest, okay? You're talking Virginia, Ryan Odom, new coach. You're talking Miami, Jay Lucas, new coach. Even a team like Louisville, Pat Kelsey, second year, new coach. You start looking around at some of these teams that are having success, it's because I believe they've gotten the right coaching hire. And then what happens? Luke Laux at Florida State, his second half of the year was as impressive of an in-game developmental coaching job, in-season developmental coaching job as we saw in the ACC. Then there's what? I think Jerry McNamara going to Syracuse is a really interesting hire. Maybe they hit it big. So the ACC being down the last few years, I think has kicked a lot of teams in the pants, right? Lit a fire under their you-know-what. And because of that, they were better this year, and many of them showed strides going in the right direction. They may not be where they want to be, which is why the ACC is down to just one school in the Sweet 16, right? They may not be where they hope to be or intend to be, but they're on the right path, right? Virginia feels good about where they are. Miami feels good about where they are. Maybe State. I don't know if they feel as good, but they have a coach that has promised this year will be the worst year that he has at NC State. And then there's Hubert Davis at Carolina. Right? Don't sleep on the fact that Carolina was one of the top 4 teams in the ACC this regular season. Right? They had the double bye. They're one of the top 4 seeds. But guess what? There's a whole bunch of people coming. right? And how bad they've been recently has lit a fire under their you-know-what as they try to chase you down. So if Hubert Davis isn't increasing his program, isn't making them better, isn't developing his program at a rate at least as aggressive as these other schools, you're going to get caught and passed. That, to me, is what UNC has to worry about. Like, oh, Caleb Wilson got hurt. They would have been better. I think they would have beat VCU if Caleb Wilson played. But how they were playing with Caleb Wilson doesn't guarantee that they're still playing, right? Winning one game, I don't think changes the narrative as much. But you just have to recognize that being okay with results that are below your standard is just giving everybody else more time to catch up. And it is 1,000 times more difficult to reach your standard again and again and again once you let people pass you. Right? It's much easier to make tweaks and changes and do all of that when you are leading or when you are still in the peloton, as they call it in bicycle racing, right? When you're still out part of that top group. Now, obviously, this comment will always come with a grain of salt based on the source, but we have some audio here from Jay Williams, who the reason why I say comes with a grain of salt is because he's a Duke basketball legend talking about Carolina. Although I do want to say, didn't he do like the shirt rip reveal earlier this year and it had Carolina on his – he was wearing a Carolina T-shirt. So, I don't know, maybe he was – how much Jedi mind trick would this be? Like he was hyping up Carolina all year to be like, see, I'm non-biased just to let loose here in the offseason. But either way, it is Jay Williams on the level of concern for UNC basketball. Here's Jay Will.
And I'm saying this growing up as a North Carolina fan. Like if North Carolina didn't have that logo, I'm not sure we'd be talking about them as a blue blood over the last 5 years since COVID. Relevancy is currency. And I can make a case that they're not a top 5 current relevant team in college basketball right now, which is crazy when you think about this is a brand that some of the most elite of the elite have worn, from Michael Jordan to Vince Carter to Jerry Stackhouse. I mean, the last time they had a top 5 pick was in 2005. Now they'll have one this year with Caleb Wilson.
Few things. One, consider the source. Two, do you know what my argument is for Carolina being a blue blood? They were talking about it. I mean, that was what, First Take, right? I think he was on First Take or Get Up, something like that. That is like the ESPN flagship most, hey, let's debate stuff television show. And they were talking about Carolina's coaching situation. They hadn't even fired their coach. There's really no news to discuss. They're talking about it despite the fact that we have a 16, Sweet 16, complete 16 of power conference teams. Oh, coaches you might remember, right? I wrote them all down, right? This is college basketball where coaches are the stars. Rick Pitino's still playing. Tom Izzo's still playing. Dan Hurley's still playing. Kelvin Sampson's still playing. John Calipari's still playing. John Shire's still playing. Fred Hoiberg, Sean Miller, Rick Barnes. They've got some dudes out there. You're talking about Hubert Davis. And it's not because Hubert Davis is some unbelievably charismatic individual that you just can't not talk about. Double negative. It's because Carolina might be open. And I'll put it this way. If they do entertain going outside of the Carolina family, if they do truly look into hiring whoever is the best coach, regardless of what their where they graduated or if they ever coached for Dean Smith or Roy Williams on as an assistant, if they truly go outside the Carolina family, it'll be the first time in my lifetime. It'll be the first time in my parents' lifetime that they truly go outside the Carolina world for a head coach. Yeah, I think that would create some buzz in the sports world, and that buzz is why they're a blue blood. Because a bunch of teams hire and fire coaches. Not many of them can take over the week of the Sweet 16's news cycle with a potential maybe not even happening coaching search. I'd say they're pretty important.
By the way, our good friend Pat Welter, who we had on the show earlier, posted this on social media about 4:35, so about 20 minutes ago. Doesn't sound like Hubert Davis' decision is coming today. Tuesday is the open of spring football. Does UNC want to steal that thunder? Sources tell me meetings between Hubert and players/family/agents begin on Tuesday. Hard to discuss future when you don't know the present.
I'm going to add something there. With Bill Belichick, Carolina took on a different kind of level of football program. I think it may announce yourself as like not second fiddle to football if you announce it the first day of spring practice. Like, no. Carolina basketball, the Tar Heels, do not move their news to make sure off-season shorts and a helmet practice for football is not disrupted. I actually think it would be a sign of like, no, this is still Carolina basketball we're talking about. We'll be darned if football is on the practice field. If we're announcing our next head coach, the only thing we'll wait for is if Michael Jordan wants to sit at the desk next to whoever our next coach is, and Roy Williams wants to be on the other side and they're out of town. If they want to knight the next head coach with like Jordan 11 shoes rather than a scepter, if they want to knight the next head coach, we'll wait for them to come in town. We're not waiting for Belichick to make sure that his second string offense that's all going to transfer out anyway knows the play for 3rd and 11. I think it would be a nice little announcement that Carolina basketball takes a backseat to nobody. But football's king in a lot of ways, so maybe I'm just talking out of, all hot air. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting 5 coming up, but first, Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here real quick for my good friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, stop letting the high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. It's a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity with no appraisals, no paperwork, and no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash out in as little as 1 day with a rate that's at a 3-year low. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours. They wiped out all their credit cards, started a home improvement project, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,500. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much cash you can get. No hard credit pull up front. And just imagine, this time next week, you could be credit card debt-free. Loan Pronto, A+ rated by the BBB with nearly 2,800 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, as promised, heads to the starting 5. Coming up.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Cameron Boozer. Put it off the window! Count it in a foul!
Listen for the Get That Out of Here's.
Gamba blocked it. What a rejection.
Oh, my goodness.
The lob! Brown hangs from the rim, and the lead grows to 22.
The road to Indianapolis runs through 99.9. The Fan. Driven by Strategic Tax Resolution, Wake Med, Fairway Green, and Chapel Hill Family and Cosmetic Dentistry.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
With the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries?
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's bow time.
There's bow time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We're a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come in, throw it in, and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there.
Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Getting hurt in a car wreck comes with all kinds of stress and frustration. But when you call me, I'll be on top of all of it. So all you need to worry about is getting better. If you've been injured in a car wreck, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. It's a breezy evening behind a cold front. Cooler air will be slow to work its way in this evening with temperatures still in the 70s, but we fall down to 39 for the low tonight, just 59 for the high Tuesday afternoon with increasing clouds.
5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 631 points today to 46,208.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We're over 22,000, I think I heard earlier today.
Yeah, we're over 22,000 already.
So we are hunting 23,000. On to the next. I would assume 25,000 will probably be when we do a giveaway of something. The big kind of round numbers, we always make sure to give something to a subscriber to celebrate. So help us get there. Tell your friends. Pass it around. With that being said, it is time now, as it often is at this time, for the starting five. Starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now, 3.9 seconds, no fouls to give.
Bill Self is out near half court saying no fouls, no fouls. Inbound comes to Darling. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Darling on the drive to the rim. Layup is good. Layup is good. St. John's wins it 67-65. The St. John's Red Storm storm into the Sweet 16.
On ESPN.com, there are officially 0 perfect brackets. There are 5 remaining on the women's side. 5 are still perfect in the women's bracket challenge. Do you realize how crazy it is? This is just, I don't know why this blew my mind. ESPN.com does the perfect bracket tracker, so you can check it at any point in time throughout like the first couple of days and see how many, and an upset happens, how many people were eliminated by it. Siena losing to Duke eliminated 40,196 brackets. Over 40,000 people, A, almost predicted a crazy upset. B, picked Siena to beat Duke, the number 1 overall seed, which just goes to show you how impossible it is to have a perfect bracket. Because there were 40,000 people that picked Siena, which means there were way more that picked like High Point, right? There were way more that picked more traditional upsets that we were used to seeing, Texas. And none of them matched up all the other perfect examples or perfect picks to get there. 0 perfect brackets as it sits right now. And you would think, I should acknowledge this. My cousin's wife went as long as I've ever, like someone I know personally, went as long this year as I've ever seen somebody I know without a mistake. Like we were deep into day 2, and she was still perfect. And so in our family group chat, we were all talking. She goes, yeah, I'm so glad I took that campus visit to High Point, 20 years ago, because she just thought oh, I've been to that campus. I should pick them, and picked High Point. And it took that kind of logic to have the best start to a bracket I've ever seen personally. Brackets are hilarious. But you would think this year there might be a better chance because, and just like last year, all of the Sweet 16 are power conferences. Right? I always say, a smart person learns from their own mistakes. A wise person learns from the mistakes of others. We should learn from everyone's mistakes. Next year, put every Sweet 16 team a power conference team. Doesn't have to be like top seeds, right? Texas, an 11 seed, made it, right? You can have longer shots make it. Iowa is a 9 seed. You can have longer shots make it. But just make sure they have a little bit of NIL funding so their team doesn't get blown off the court in the second or third round. That's all you're looking for, right? That's all you're looking for. It's kind of a bummer that there's you're not going to predict any small conferences. But, hey, small conferences should hang banners just for making it. If you're a one big – actually, Dennis, you hang your conference championships, so never mind. They do hang banners for it. That's the part that I think people don't accept as much. The smaller conferences should celebrate like crazy just making it to the NCAA tournament. Like, that's a huge deal if you're in the MEAC or if you're in name your one bid conference. You don't have to go to the Elite Eight to clap and smile. You know what I mean? How's your bracket doing? I'm sticking to hope. Like, it's been bad, but the teams I have going really far are still alive. So that's what I'm on right now. Like, oh, yeah, I'm in the bottom half of the bracket, but if things go well, watch out. Don't call it a comeback.
My Final Four is still intact, so that's good.
My Final Four, and I think 6 of my 8 Elite 8. I thought it was 7, but Florida. Anyway, that's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Nice play here on the keep-in. Sebastian Aho showing off some baseball skill here. He'll hand it. A shot through the score on the power play. Aho lets it go. Another net front by the captain, and Carolina 47 seconds in on the 7th power play goal this season from Sebastian Aho have a 1-0 lead.
The universe is starting to agree with me, Dennis. 2026 is the year of Aho. You know how I know? The Canes are going to Finland.
Let's go.
November, 12th and 14th. Mm-hmm. The Canes will be playing the Seattle Kraken in Helsinki, Finland. The home of Jesperi Kotkaniemi and also Sebastian Aho. That's, first of all, just cool.
Yeah, it's part of the NHL Global Series that they have. So they always have a couple teams go out and play, whether in Sweden, Finland, something along those lines, somewhere out in Europe is, obviously it's a very international game, which I think is pretty cool. But, yeah, the Canes are part of that this upcoming year.
And they do, I would assume, try to get teams that have a little bit of interest over there, and both of these do. Kapokako and obviously Sebastian Aho, players that you would think would sell some tickets. And I saw Aho was quoted saying, hopefully the stands are filled with kids that want to play in the NHL, and then he got real humble, and then maybe they might also look up to me a little bit. It's like, trust me, if there is a Finnish young kid that likes playing or wants to play in the NHL, there's a good chance they look up to you, Aho. Not just you, but there's a good chance they look up to you.
So the last time that the Carolina Hurricanes played in Finland, the Canes played the Minnesota Wild. You know who was sitting in the stands? According to Mike Sundheim of the Carolina Hurricanes, a 13-year-old kid by the name of Sebastian Aho was sitting in the stands watching the Canes beat the Wild.
Got to pass the torch.
I know. That's pretty cool.
Wait, was it our Sebastian Aho?
Yes.
Okay.
Our Sebastian Aho.
Because there are 2 of them.
No, not that other guy. That other guy's not Finnish. He's actually Swedish.
Really?
Yeah.
I probably should have looked into that, but you see 2 guys with the same name. The other thing I want to say about this is the whole year of Aho thing. Mm-hmm. He's back up to 1.15 after the weekend. 1.15 points per game since the Olympic break. I've predicted 1.25. Got all the way down to 1.09, but he had, 2 assists on Friday, a goal on Saturday. A little up and down there. But 1.15, we're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe tomorrow, a little 2 assists, 1 goal game, really boost it. I'm looking for it. It's the year of Aho, 2026. It's really the year of Aho is the rest of 26, 27, 28. That's the trio of years of Aho. But we'll take it. Go back home, show off a little bit. Jarvis, get to go in a sauna. Here, that's big over there. That's number 4. There's no transition out of Jarvis and a sauna. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Back for Svechnikov. Now Jarvis out in front. Seth Jarvis pounds it home on a beautiful feed from Nikolai Ehlers. And the Canes, 3 for 3, perfect.
Why didn't you tell me we had the perfect transition out of Seth Jarvis in the sauna?
Because that was my choice.
Man, there's no transition out of Seth Jarvis in a sauna into the perfect transition. By the way, Seth Jarvis, team defender, like again,
what a goon.
Didn't like the hit on what was it, Svech this time?
Yeah.
Goes over, make sure that everybody's aware of his displeasure. Seth Jarvis, team leader, I think so. Also scored a goal, as you just heard. That was in the Pittsburgh game, which the Canes won yesterday. It was an afternoon game, like a 3 o'clock start. 5-1 the final score. Freddie played well in net. You want to hear more of the details. We provide those details from Adam Gold, our very own Adam Gold, but something we call 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam, and I've got 2 minutes for 3 moments that helped Carolina get 2 points and stretch the margin out to 10 over the Pittsburgh Penguins, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers. I guess Carolina doesn't need that power play coach after all, do they? So many of you on social media for years, when are the Hurricanes going to sign themselves a power play coach? I actually don't know if that's actually how you sound, but it's how I hear it. And Carolina doesn't need it, because when you've got players who move the puck, you're going to score power play goals.
The shot through the score on the power play. Aho lets it go, and Carolina on the 7th power play goal this season from Sebastian Aho have a 1-0 lead. Ehlers wants it, he scores! A one-timer from Nikolai Ehlers on the power play, and Carolina's lead is 2-0. Jarvis pounds it home on a beautiful feed from Nikolai Ehlers, and the Canes 3 for 3, perfect on the power play at PPG Paints Arena.
3 out of their first 4 goals on the power play. 3 for 3. Aho, Ehlers, Jarvis, thank you. 5-1 win. And oh, by the way, Freddie Anderson, 18 saves, 19 shots. Pretty doggone good. And some big saves early. That's probably the best Freddie has looked for 60 minutes in a long while. Nice to see. Now, Brandon Bussey, your turn to look good. Carolina, with 12 games left to play, is in very good shape to win the division, maybe even get the number 1 seed in the East, and take it from there. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for the power of love and the power play.
How about, and this is might be indicative of nothing, but it's fun fact stuff going on here. How about just the Canes special teams over the weekend? What was it? Against Toronto, they almost hit for the cycle. They had 5-on-4 goals, 4-on-5 goals. They had a penalty shot goal, and they had a 3-on-3 goal in overtime.
Yeah, no 5-on-5 goals.
They had every kind of goal except 5-on-5. That's missing the cycle because you didn't get the single. Like you did the hard parts. You didn't get the just the seeing eye blooper. And then then it's like, I wonder what they're going to do to match that when they play on Sunday. They went 3 for 3 on the power play, 3 shots. People aren't like 3 for 3 on the power play is crazy, but 3 shots amongst them, that's as crazy as it is. So credit to the special teams of the Canes over the weekend, getting it done. And I guess is a penalty shot special teams? Do we call it that? It's not.
I don't know.
It's not normal. It's not normal teams. It could just be penalty shots. But either way, Robinson, way to go.
That was a heck of a goal, by the way.
Yeah. You heard everyone say, I'm going to file that away for the next time I want to complain about shootout selections.
Right.
Now every time, Jarvis misses, why is that not Eric Robinson? Just because they like complaining.
Again, shootouts don't factor in the playoffs.
Although penalty shots.
They could.
Either way, it was a fun weekend for Canes hockey when you mash the two games together. There's a lot to be excited about. That is number 3. How about number 2?
Just the two of us. Shot clock is off. 16 seconds remaining. Duke will dribble it out. What an effort from the number 1 overall team in this tournament. The Duke Blue Devils are on to their 3rd consecutive Sweet 16 under John Shire. 81-58 the final as they take out TCU.
Duke's still playing. And now we've learned they might get Caleb Foster back sooner than they originally anticipated. Matter of fact, how about we hear it from John Shire himself on the possibility of Caleb Foster, who was injured right before the ACC tournament. And the assumption was if they were lucky and rehab went well, that he might be available if the team makes the Final Four without him. Now suddenly there's an outside chance he could play in the Sweet 16. Here's John Shire.
When he first got hurt, I felt there's more like 1 in a million, when thinking back on that. Since then, since he's gone hurt, Caleb, the way that he's worked, the chances have continued to increase. And, I even think there's an outside chance maybe for Friday. I know in Caleb's mind, there was last Friday where he feels he could have done something, which he couldn't have.
Yeah.
But he's trying to do the impossible here and come back as soon as he can. And, I think this weekend, I don't think I can rule it out because of who he is and how he's been working.
Caleb Foster, I don't want to say this is an insult to Foster. He's not as important as Gongba to me because they have some more depth on the perimeter than they do down low. It's particularly Gongba being, really the tallest guy in their rotation matters. But he's still important. He's still another option. Getting him back, if he is himself, would be massive. With that being said, every team remaining is legit. You're now to the point in the tournament where there's no assumptions, right? There's no pushovers. Every team remaining in the Sweet 16 is a team that has earned their way there, and they're pretty good. So, better buckle up, whoever it is. I said this earlier. I was talking about 2 people, but I think Isaiah Evans is kind of known, right? He's a little bit, I would say, flashier, a little bit more thirst for the moment, a little bit more demonstrative after really good plays. So he's becoming kind of, well-known nationally. Do you know who might be the key to if Duke can win a national championship or not? Dame Sarr. He is wildly talented. And even if he's only consistent shooting the 3 from the corner, which he appears to love corner 3s.
He's good at it.
That's enough. If he's knocking down corner 3s, he tries to dunk on people. His defense is elite. Obviously Malik Brown was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and rightfully so. I think the more and more I watch him, I think the better defender might be Dame Sarr for this reason. Malik Brown fouls a lot. And Dame Sarr seems to get maybe not as many deflections and things, but a whole bunch of them, and he's able to play a lot more minutes without fouling. If Dame Sarr plays huge minutes, great defense, pretty good offense, that could be the difference. Because Cam Boozer's going to Cam Boozer, right? Like Isaiah Evans is going to be his streaky shooting self. Like there's certain guys but Sarr might have another level even that we're unaware of, and could also kind of, let me think of a good example on this one. I don't even know what he could vault himself up some draft boards with a really good next 2 weeks. He plays 4 really good games. He goes from maybe 27th to 11th. Like he can do that kind of a leap with his ability. St. John, by the way, St. John's their matchup. And they catch some coaches, right? They're going to play Rick Pitino, followed up by the winner of Tom Izzo and Dan Hurley, just to make the Final Four. So John Shire is going to have to match wits with some of the best. That was number 2. How about number 1?
one!
That's a big thinking question, and I apologize. I'm just not there right now. Just really sad that we're not continuing to play and to move forward, because I have loved and enjoyed this team. I enjoy and love all of them, but I've just really enjoyed coaching this team, and I really wanted this group and these kids to experience more. And so, but other than that, I'm just thinking about these guys and the rest of the guys that are in the locker room.
I don't think this is not the most important part, but I do think this is a lesson for coaches, players, heck, anybody that is public-facing in an entertainment industry in which sports is. I'm not 100% sure Hubert Davis didn't put, if his job is eventually, as I think many are expecting it to, if it is eventually either resigned or fired or mutually parted ways with, I'm not sure he didn't put the nails in the coffin in the post-game presser. I've like, it's not even a joke anymore. It started as a joke that I want to start a business called 10 Minutes to the Podium. And all it is as somebody that's been in media now for, well over a decade, I want any of my clients, I want them to call me when they are 10 minutes away from being at a podium, post-game presser, off-season update, spring practice press conference, and I'm about to go on with Pat McAfee. Like, anytime you are 10 minutes away from being in front of a microphone, I want you to call me, and I'm going to give you, A, everything they're going to ask, B, the talking points that you should lean into, and C, the third rail. Just the things that you should not do, cannot do. If you do it, it's going to make a bigger problem. And, I will charge a ton, because apparently it's the most difficult thing in the world. If Hubert Davis would have called me 10 minutes, right? Talk to the kids, tell the media, all right, I got to do my post-game presser, give me 10 minutes, walk into a room, close the door, call my business, 10 minutes to the podium. Do you know what I'm telling him? I don't care what actually happened in the second half. All of it is your fault. All of it. You are the head coach, right? When your boss calls you into your office, you can be as honest with them as you want, right? Like, we had everything where we wanted, but this sophomore guard didn't blah, 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 blah. You can be as honest as you want. At the podium, I don't care what they ask you. It's your fault. You missed free throws. That's my fault. I put the kids in a situation not to be successful. Should have made sure they had fresher legs. I don't care what you say. I didn't give them enough practice shots in that gym. Make whatever you want up. It's your fault. Because if you do that, you come across as head coach worthy. You come across as somebody that knows how to fix it. You come across as somebody that is a leader of a team. If you stand up there and don't take accountability, you don't seem like somebody that knows how to fix it. And right now, right, especially in that moment, you just got an absolute collapse, right? You just put an absolute collapse on national television in the most watched sporting event of the year, the NCAA Tournament. Everyone took off work to watch, and you collapsed. If you don't go out there and smash that press conference, it is giant steps backwards.
That's the thing that caught me off guard. So I was sitting there in the presser, and not one point did he say anything along those lines. Hey, why did the offense struggle late? What went wrong? What do you mean? Well, why did you struggle to score late? Well, we had good looks. We just didn't make the shots. I'm like, okay, so it's your players then? As opposed to, you know what? I got to put my guys in better positions to make these, whatever it might be. Again, you own it. Now, at one point during the presser, did he ever take ownership? Not one time. Not one single time.
And
it's 101
yes.
coaching press conference.
It would have been number one on my little consultantship. Listen, I's and me's after loss. I's and me's. I need to. Even if you it's, hey, our best shooter missed 100 threes, and they were all wide open. I need to get him into a better rhythm, right? I need to get him shots. I need to make sure he makes them early. I need to make sure he has other options. I. Listen, it's being a head coach at that level, right? If you just want X's and O's, you just want to teach the game, I'm promising you, and this is no disrespect to Hubert, this is like Division III, right? High school. You can go pass along all of your basketball knowledge. When you sign up to be a head coach at the level that Carolina is, it's not just coaching. It is being a CEO. It is being the mouthpiece of your multi-million-dollar organization. You can't put your foot in your mouth. And when you do, you have to have the PR impact, the salvage team to get out there and make sure it goes well. Right? It's if there are problems, and there are, right? If there are problems, and there, like, here's one way to bring it up. Everyone wants to bring up the Caleb Wilson injury. Obviously, the coach can't say, if Caleb would have played, we would have done great. But I have to make sure that our team is more prepared if someone goes down to make up the difference in play, even without someone as talented as Caleb Wilson. Because we're Carolina, and our expectations don't rise and fall with one player. That right there is taking all of the accountability while also putting it in the brains of the fans. Yeah, Caleb Wilson was hurt. It's not difficult, which is why I think the consultantship would work. Who wants to start the business? Anyone entrepreneurial out there? I'm looking for a business partner. 10 minutes to the podium, Inc. Anybody? No? All right, fine. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. If you're good at the podium, we'll give you second and third chances. Maybe fifth and sixth chances. I don't know how many chances Hubert's on. We'll give you a lot more chances if you're good at the podium. That is the starting five. Up next, we need numbers game contestants. And if you are of a certain era, buckle up for this prize that you could win. Lil Wayne is back. That's right, Wheezy, Tunchi. Lil Wayne is back, and he's bringing 20-plus years of Carter classics to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on September 26th with special guest 2 Chainz. Call 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete for a pair of tickets to Lil Wayne and 2 Chainz. Tickets are on sale now, but you can win them if you win the numbers game. 919-860-5326. Call in now. We need 2 contestants to play the numbers game and maybe go see Wheezy. Stick around. Numbers game next.
The Adam Gold Show.
Look, we all know what's going to happen in Chapel Hill. They are going to force Hubert Davis to resign. And maybe that's best for the entire program, and that's the way Hubert will look at it, because as somebody who loves the program more than the people who are currently running it, Hubert does not want this to bleed into next year. And if Hubert is back, it will bleed into next year. So the best thing to do is simply to move on.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your Carrier factory authorized dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company. Your comfort is our business.
Hello, I'm John Heister for John Heister Chevrolet in Fuquay Varina. You know, people are asking us, how are you selling so many cars all of a sudden? Well, did you know that the Beltline has opened up the outer loop? We're only 28 minutes from Knightdale. We're only 19 minutes from Clayton and 15 minutes from Apex. We're now the most convenient Chevrolet dealership to reach in the Triangle. It's just one more reason to get off your keister and come to Heister.
Now at John Heister Chevrolet, get up to $15,000 off a new 2025 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 RST. See dealer for details. Together, let's drive.
Squirrels, nail pops, even bullet holes. This is Holly from Roofworks, and those are some of the main things we see that cause roof leaks. It's never a bad idea to stick your head in the attic periodically and check sheetrock on the ceiling and walls. Finding problems early can save you hundreds to thousands of dollars. Roofworks wants to help you stay ahead of the game with preventative maintenance for your home or business. At Roofworks, we don't want to be the biggest, we just want to be the best. Roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply or play stopped, opt out.
Hey, man, how did the date go?
I had to cancel. I don't get paid until Friday.
You didn't know that you can get up to a $750 paycheck advance with the current app?
Where was that information yesterday?
Just text them, see if you qualify. $750? Boom. And right now, they're offering a $75 bonus when you set up an eligible direct deposit.
Think I should call her back?
Yeah.
Need money before payday? Current has you covered. Set up an eligible direct deposit to see if you qualify for a paycheck advance of up to $750. Hurry and receive an extra $75 sign-up bonus right now. Text BETTER to 323232. That's BETTER to 323232. BETTER to 323232.
Paycheck advance is offered by FindCo Advance LLC, a financial technology company, not an FDIC-insured bank. Eligibility and available amounts may vary and are subject to change at any time. For full terms and conditions, visit current.com/radio or call 1-888-851-3177 for more information.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. But before we do, Pat Welter was on our show earlier talking about the latest on Hubert Davis, and he did bring up that the exit meetings with players and agents and parents and Hubert Davis were scheduled to begin tomorrow, and he thought that might get a little awkward if they hadn't made a decision on whether Hubert was going to be the coach or not by then. He did tweet out just moments ago, this Pat Welter, WRAL, update, meetings between players and Hubert Davis set to begin Tuesday, and the rest of the week have been postponed. So they've at least eliminated that awkwardness, but that would be another writing on the wall. We'll talk about it more in a second, because right now, it is time to play the numbers game. We have Micah in Morrisville. We have Addison in Raleigh. They will battle it out with numbers game trivia for Lil Wayne tickets. We have a pair of Lil Wayne tickets with 2 chains coming up in September going to the winner. Micah in Morrisville, we'll start with you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, we'll ask a question to each of you. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. The question for today, as it often is on Monday, is what was the highlight of your past weekend? But remember, we're a sports show, so keep it sports related.
Mine would be hitting the Penguins with the belt and just destroying them.
All right, Dennis, any follow-ups?
No.
All right, destroying Pittsburgh. Next up, we have Addison in Raleigh. Addison, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, same question to you. The weekend just ended. What was the highlight of your weekend? And remember, we're a sports show, so keep it sports related.
My highlight of the weekend was seeing Tom Brady playing flag football in some shades and a hat. That was pretty cool.
All right, Tom Brady playing football in the whatever it was, the 7-on-7 flag football thing. Luke Kuechly also played, got an interception. Dennis, are you rolling with destroying the Penguins or Tom Brady back like he never left?
I could not have cared less about the flag football, whatever that was. I was like, oh, wait, this thing's happening? No thanks. I'll take the Penguins getting their butts kicked by the Carolina Hurricanes.
The only thing I would say is flag football, not football. After watching the highlights, they're just going to kill their knees. They do weird like catcher's stance squats running full speed because it's all about just moving your hips to like different levels and making it hard to grab. Crazy looking. And the NFL players were a bit out of their element. With that being said, that means Micah gets to go first. Addison, you'll have your chance. Just go ahead and stay on hold. But for right now, it's Micah. Micah, you ready to pick a category?
Yeah.
All right. The categories are NFL Panthers throughout history, NFL players born on federal holidays, NBA players from the Central Division, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
Mike, I know you jump in here. You played a good amount. If you know you're going to pick Canes, don't make me read through everything. Just jump in and say Canes. All right?
All right.
With that being said, Canes. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. I'll give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. You have one pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
I'm good.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Logan Stankoven, Carolina Hurricanes.
22.
Correct. Brandon Bussey, Carolina Hurricanes.
32.
Correct. Brad Malone, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Correct. Glenn Wesley, Carolina Hurricanes.
2.
Correct. Victor Rask, Carolina Hurricanes.
49.
Correct. That's a quick one. That is a quick one, Dennis.
That was a solid 16.5 seconds. Unofficial time, 16.5.
16.5, not our all-time record, but pretty darn good. I can tell you got excited when Rask was. You're like, 49.
I honestly almost missed Wesley, which is I feel like the easiest one to get. But I knew Brad Malone because he's a fighter. Come on, of course.
That's true. That actually we should have known. You're the only person who's like, come on, Nick Delorier. Come on, Nick Delorier. He's played one game. Either way, perfect score. Stay on hold. We'll see if it holds up. That brings us to Addison. Addison, can you hear me?
I can.
All right. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Road is tough for you.
I heard.
But we have had perfect scores better other perfect scores. So the opportunity is there. And even if you don't do it in his time, keep pushing for a perfect score because there are other benefits that come with being a perfect score winner. And having back-to-back perfect scores is electric. I go nuts. So are you ready to pick a category?
Yes. Go ahead and go with the Panthers.
I see. I like that. I like the confidence, and I like that I didn't have to go ahead and read everything else. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
No, I'm good.
All right. You do need all five. You need them faster than your opponents. But, again, keep pushing all the way through to the buzzer. If you have no more questions, your time will start when you hear the horn. Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers.
9.
Correct. Greg Hardy, Carolina Panthers.
Pass.
Travell Wharton, Carolina Panthers.
16.
Incorrect. Chris Gamble, Carolina Panthers.
7.
Incorrect. Greg Hardy, Carolina Panthers.
96.
Incorrect. Travell Wharton, Carolina Panthers. You know, some might listen to that and think you weren't close. You were closer than you'd think. 96. Greg Hardy was 76. Chris Gamble, I believe he wore 7 at Ohio State.
20, yeah, I'm a Buckeye fan.
20 with the Panthers. Travell Warren's a tough one. 70 is what we were looking for there. But you were making your way. Unfortunately, and it's not enough, but hopefully you had some fun.
Sure did. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. When you do take a long when it's Bryce Young and you need a perfect score in less than 16 and a half seconds, it's like, you know what? Let's just hope for a good round here and get out of here because Micah is the winner. Congratulations, Micah.
Thank you.
You are the winner, and that means you get the tickets to see Lil Wayne with special guest 2 Chainz coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on September 26th. Congratulations, Micah. You know the deal. Stay on the line, and Dennis will grab the info he needs to make sure you get your prize. There you go. There was a streak. I'm in my mid-30s, so that's kind of where you place it. There was a streak where every highlight film for like a team end-of-year banquet, every highlight film for like, oh, look how good I was that you made on iMovie on the iMac in the computer lab. Oh, you know it had a Wheezy song in the background. It had a Wheezy song. It had to. A lot of nostalgia there. The Carter 3, come on. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We brought it up right before the numbers game, that meetings between players and Hubert Davis that were set to begin tomorrow. Well, Pat Welter of WRAL is reporting that they have been postponed for the rest of the week, which gives them more time to figure out what they want to do, I would assume. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the implications of it. We'll talk about what it means. We'll talk about what could possibly happen next for Carolina. And even though it seems premature, a lot of people are throwing out names for who the next coach for Carolina could be, which is how quickly it moves in college basketball. But again, shout out to Pat Welter, who we did talk to earlier. If you want to catch that interview, it's likely already up on YouTube. If it's not, it will be shortly. 99.9 The Fan, our app, and and so many other places, our podcast. Pat Welter, WRAL, who is, as up to date as anybody on the Hubert Davis situation and coaching status, employment status as anybody. He joined our show earlier, and you can catch that in our archives. And also, it does not sound like a decision is coming today. I think many believed that with the women hosting over the weekend, that the Hubert Davis situation may have been put on hold until today. That doesn't appear to be the case. Maybe they're more up in the air than many believe. It is a true 50-50, and they got to figure it out. Or there's always perhaps they're reaching out to other backdoor channels about who might be willing to be the next head coach. Either way, the drama continues. But as the Chapel Hill turns, the drama continues over there in Chapel Hill regarding their head coach. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube. I brought it up since that's where the interview lies. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. We are constantly growing that community, and we want you to be a part of it. So once you're there, jump in the comments, right? Leave your opinions. We do bring them up on air quite a bit. But before we can get to any of that, Dennis Cox has something he'd like to tell you.
That's right, folks. I need you to go to caniacsbike.com. That's right, caniacsbike.com. Dennis Cox here real quick for my good friends over at Law Tigers. The reason why I'm telling you to go to caniacsbike.com is because I want you to win. I want you to win a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle. The Law Tigers are once again teaming up with your Carolina Hurricanes to give one lucky Caniac a custom Canes Ducati motorcycle. It's a V4 Ducati, by the way. It's pretty awesome. By the way, bike is courtesy of Art Moto Garage and Shiny Side Paint. It's simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com. By the way, the deadline to enter, it's this weekend. It's this Sunday, the 29th of March. Deadline. Enter now. Go to caniacsbike.com. Quit waiting around. You've been hearing me talking about this bike for a couple of months now. If you've been thinking about it, unsure, just do it anyway. Go to caniacsbike.com. Enter for your chance to win. By the way, if you win the motorcycle, hit me up. We'll go out and ride. I ride my motorcycle. You ride the Ducati all on your own. But let's go ride. From being serious, go to caniacsbike.com. By the way, bike will be given away live on the ice April 4th, which is very soon. It'll be given away live on the ice of the game April 4th, and it includes tickets to a catered suite. caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, looks into the latest of the Hubert Davis saga in Chapel Hill. Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and as the Carolina Hurricanes shoot for their 8th consecutive playoff appearance, that's right, 8 in a row, that's not the goal, I should remind you. The goal is being, as Rod Brindamore likes to say, the last team standing. What do they need? Who will get them there? You know where you can find the answers on every episode of the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube after games, and wherever you get your podcast. Rate, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Annie's first oil change wasn't as hard as she thought because she went to AutoZone, where a friendly AutoZoner helped her find the right oil and save on an oil filter. He explained the job and showed her free how-tos on AutoZone.com. When she was done, AutoZone recycled her old oil for free. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis can limit me at times. Now I'm treating my joint symptoms with Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
It's bow time.
Finally, lunchtime. I'm starving.
What's that?
This is the Bojangler from Bojangles.
Ooh, with the same bold flavor as their chicken?
The same.
And fries.
The same.
Huh. Well, I've got a PB&J.
Yeah, that's not the same.
A crispy fish fillet dusted in Bo's famous seasoning. With cheese and tartar sauce on a fluffy bun, the Bojangler's back. Hook one while you can. It's Bo time.
There's Bo time, and then there's Bojangler time. You heard right. The Bojangler fish fillet sandwich is back for limited time at participating Bojangles. A light, flaky, perfectly seasoned fish fillet with lettuce, cheese, and tartar sauce tucked inside a bun. Make it a combo and add Bojangles seasoned fries and legendary iced tea. Hungry for Bojangles but in the mood for something different? Then it's Bojangler time.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. So as it stands right now, and it's never a good thing. Never a good thing when you're talking about someone's employment. And you go, well, as it stands right now, Hubert Davis is the head coach of North Carolina. Because, well, that sounds temporary. But the hard part is, all it would have taken is one, not even statement. Like you didn't even have to put out like the photoshopped graphic with the cool font. All you had to do was leak to one insider, like Hubert Davis's job is secure, and all of this would have gone away. But instead, everyone involved in the Carolina coaching decision world went into more of a, well, we're going to evaluate everything and we're going to discuss it and we're going to figure it out, which I do think leads into a flaw in the way Carolina's athletic program is set up right now. And it's basketball. It's not just basketball. And we talked about it with Pat Welter earlier today, WRAL sports reporter, when he joined the show. There's an athletic director. One might describe as a lame duck athletic director. There's a athletic director in waiting. There's a chancellor. There's at least one or two godfathers of the basketball program. Think Roy Williams, who likely, if they ever said anything publicly, would put pressure on the organization to do it. And many other powers that be would get behind them immediately. Every program has, 5 to 10 people that donate enough money that their money is contingent upon their opinion being heard. There's a board of trustees who may or may not have power. There's a whole bunch of, there's politicians that likely want power. That's a lot of people to keep happy, and that's a lot of people to make sure they're on board before making a big decision. So, and what if there's a disagreement, right? Like if there's an athletic director that gets to make decisions and, might have a board or a president or whatever to answer to, but that board or president has told them, like, I'm going to back you up, right? Make sure I know what's going on, but I'm trusting you. That's one thing. But what if, like, you get together with the powers that be and it's like 6 to 8 want him gone versus want to debate more? Like, then you can't have 6 super important people feeling like their opinions don't matter. Like, that just leads to more and more and more discussion and less and less and less certainty and more and more bruised egos. Listen, I understand it can't be like a dictatorship, but a lot of times I think sports teams are run best by a, like, dictatorship has so many bad intonations. Like, if you just have a really good, really fair person and you give them all the power, I think that's the way sports teams work best. And that's the way it's worked for years and years, right? The old school NFL owners just like picked a general manager and said, the football is you. And that person, everything fell on their footsteps. College basketball may have been the number one way. You hired a college basketball coach, and they were like more than a man but less than a god on campus. They were the biggest stars, and they made the decisions. Now, like, even if it's somebody like a Carolina head basketball coach, you got to answer to, well, first of all, your Jordan rep. You got to answer to the donors. You got to answer to your general manager. You got to answer to, 3 or 4 players' agents that are pretty darn important. You got to answer to the both ADs. You got to answer to the board, the chancellor. You got to answer to all of this before you can even make a high leverage decision. So we're sitting here waiting for a decision on Hubert Davis. Like, that's all anybody is doing, right? UNC fans, you're refreshing over and over again, and you're either dreading the refresh that hits with the breaking news, or you're just excited and you want to start talking about the next head coach, and you're waiting for the breaking news. Like, we're just refreshing. I don't know who we're refreshing. Like, I don't know who we're waiting on to make a decision. Who has to make the decision? I think that's a flaw. Remember when they hired Bill Belichick?
I was just about to say that.
Same athletic program. They had like board of trustees going rogue. They had pretty definitive leaks of that's not happening. And then it happened like the next week. Like you need to know who has the power, right? Like the old sales seminars, right? Don't let somebody say no if they can't say yes. I don't know who can say no and who can say yes in Carolina right now.
Yeah, I don't think they even know either. Because like you mentioned with Bill Belichick, it was, okay, well, apparently the chancellor wants this, board of supervisors want this, Bubba Cunningham wants this. So it's just all these different people going in different directions. And then finally someone from the higher up says, well, we're going this way. I don't care what you think.
And that's where you find out who has the real sway.
Yeah.
That's where you find out who really is as powerful as they think they are. Because I'm putting myself in Hubert Davis's situation right now, right? I think they're trying to do like the honorable thing for Hubert, right? I think they understand how it looks, and they're probably having lawyers look through everything in the contract to make sure there's no overstepping, or they're not paying him any more than they have to. But if I'm Hubert, I'm forcing the issue. I don't want to be I'd rip the Band-Aid off once you know what's going to happen here. I don't want to be flapping in the breeze. The honorable thing is make it swift, make it fair, until today, was he preparing on doing exit interviews with players tomorrow? Was he watching film to make sure when he spoke with Kyan Evans about the things he needs to improve on, he was prepped, while everybody in the world is refreshing their feeds, waiting for him to lose his job? Just tell me. If I'm Hubert Davis, maybe he doesn't even know, but whoever I think has the power to fire me, I'm knocking on their door today. Make a decision. Poo or get off the pot might be the cliche you roll with, but it's unfair to everybody involved that this is now going on. Other schools are hiring their guys. If you're waiting to get a confirmation from my potential replacement that he's going to be down, I'm not going to sit around and just be a punching bag so you can have a swift transition. And I know that Hubert Davis loves Carolina, and I know that, I think there's a promo running with Adam Gold right now on our network that says, he loves Carolina more than he loves any of the people involved in the decision. I agree with that, but he's also Hubert Davis. This is not some, Joe Schmo. Right? What was it when who's the shooter that just debuted with the Bucks, had the gigantic game for Carolina maybe 2 years ago against Duke in Cameron. What's the guy's name? Cormac Ryan. Cormac Ryan, when he went nuts, was breaking Hubert Davis's records. This is a dude that played at Carolina as well as darn near anybody. He's not somebody to get pushed around. 12, 13 years in the league. This is a dude. If I'm him, I'm marching in and saying, I don't care if the women are playing. I don't care if it's the start of spring practice. I don't care if you have to get all 37 decision makers unanimous. Tell me what my future is, and then I'll leak it. Disorganization, or Pat Welter used the term not in alignment. That is as much of a I don't want to say death sentence, but as much of an obstacle to a college athletics program as anything. You need to consolidate the power to somebody. Now, they can take in as many opinions as they want to take in, but somebody has to answer the questions and live with the consequences, right? They have to be the ones to answer to it, explain why. That's brutal right now for Carolina. And not to mention, the Belichick thing doesn't look like it's going great. It's only been a year, but let's not pretend like it's going gangbusters. They didn't win many games. That's kind of what I'm getting at. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Stay tuned to 99.9. We'll do our best to be one of, if not the first, if and when news breaks. Definitely follow our socials at 99.9 The Fan on all social medias. Our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. We've done pretty good when it comes to breaking news like that, and we'd love for you to use us as that resource. 99.9 The Fan on all social medias. Up next, we do have Overdrive, and we will keep you up on more of the conversation around Hubert Davis, including replaying our conversation with Pat Welter of WRAL from earlier. Until tomorrow, have a great night, everybody.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Everything that you can say about Aaron Judge, you can also in a lot of ways apply it to Bryce Harper, and you can absolutely apply it to Mike Trout. You have these guys who you think are going to be the one that is going to be the superstar that wins and wins consistently. And all of these guys haven't done it. All of those guys go into the what if category, and I think that's been detrimental to the game.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Is your heating and air system ready for the warmer weather? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC